Welcome to Leaguecast.
Blinded by the shadow your light casts. Headshot.
Let's go. Welcome to the League of Trading. Hello, and welcome to episode 393 of the Leaguecast podcast. I'm your host, Nick the King Cooper. Joining me, Aidan Frost Rockhards.
Hey, I'm Aidan. Joining me is Colton Blessed.
I'm alive. I'm back. From down south. Howdy, y'all.
What time is it, Colton?
It's 5:04 p.m. in Central Standard Time.
You're very bad at this. We already practiced this 6 weeks ago.
Yeah? What time should it be?
What time is it? It's high noon.
It's high noon.
God. God, your cowboy hat too tight? Ha! Got him!
So tight. I accidentally only got a 9-gallon hat, so it's pretty small.
Nice, that's for children. Hey, this week we're going to talk about the patch that came out, 9.17, and the TFT patch that came with it. We got a review. We've got a bi-weekly discussion that I'm pretty excited about. Roundtable question from last week and this week. Cheese pick, the return of the Cheese Master. Some LCS news, and we're going to round it out with a lot of emails. But first, Aidan, how was your week?
My week was good. I actually played League. I started playing League like halfway through this week. Played like 0 League at the beginning of the week. And then I was playing some... Well, first I played some TFT and I got myself to D3 by spamming Nobles. And then I got myself back to D4 by spamming Nobles. Because there's no fucking consistency in that game. No, I actually feel like the core game's really, really good. I just don't like little aspects that they can't seem to figure out despite how easy they are, like playing the same player twice and shit like that. They're like, hey, we fixed it.
Yeah.
And they completely didn't they fixed it. So originally they fixed it so that you don't play the same player twice ever, but you just play like 3 players for the entire game, which didn't help. Didn't help at all. And then they patched that, and now you play against like players twice again. So I don't know, it kind of feels like a clusterfuck. And then I feel like getting knocked out like at the same time as other people and getting worse placements is also like a garbage fucking mechanic, because with how little the damage is right now, like 5 people are always sub 15 by the end of the game. So like any of these 5 players can get knocked out, and that means you can range from being 8th to like 4th or 3rd, right? Which is a big swing in points between negative 80 and plus 20, right? Like,
and I think that the issue with it is it does it based on the timing. So like if 2 fast comps fight each other versus like 2 slow comps, like Nobles with a ton of regen, like, right? Let's say we had like 6 Nobles and a bunch of Warmogs. It'd be a really slow fight. But it's not based on, I think what they should do is change it to how much damage you took. So like if at the end of the round you were at, let's say, like negative 15, like then you're last place versus the person who got negative 9, even if they were technically eliminated before you in that same round.
Mm-hmm. Which
I disagree. I think it should be whoever had the highest health going into the round, right?
No, yeah, that's what we're just saying what it is. Like, whoever gets knocked out first, like, out of that, right? So if 5 people die in the same round, the first person who died, like, even if it was 1 second before, gets 8th, right? Rather than 7th.
Yeah. But I'm saying, I think it should be the other way around from Colton. Like, if you're placed higher going into the round, I think you should place higher if you lose the same turn, I guess.
I just feel like everyone should get the same placement, would be my solution.
That's okay, that'll work. I'm down with that.
Like, if 5 people get knocked out, then every single player gets, if it's 5, like, all 8 people in the game, then everyone gets 3rd.
Yeah,
right?
3rd.
Would be the way it would work. Which I don't think that ever happens to that extent, but very often 2 people get knocked out. And if you're on the cusp of being 4th / 5th, which is gaining points / losing points, I feel like you both should just get 4th and gain points. Maybe even a reduced amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I think that would be fun.
Normalize it between the 2 and call it both 4th, but you get halfway in between. So like if it would have been, minus 10 or plus 15, now you're just at like plus 5.
It's kind of like loss prevented in a way, where like if the enemy team gets loss prevented, you just get like a way reduced amount of LP in like ranked in solo queue. So I feel like that's a good solution personally. But we'll see. It just feels really shitty when you get knocked out and then you get minus 30, whereas if you lasted 4 more seconds, you would have got plus 20. But other than that, I actually started playing ranked again, like actual ranked League of Legends on my Smurf because Trevor started playing again. So I was like doing with him, trying to get him back into the game a little bit.
The bros
And
are
I've
back?
I've been crushing, man. I've been playing really, really well support. I've just been spamming Alistar, Nautilus, and then occasional brand games. And dude, my Ally and my Nautilus are real good. Like I was feeling real good most of those games. Yeah, so I really enjoy playing those characters. I had a Psycho add me one game where he said he was going to put me on his troll list, and every single time he sees me, he's going to troll me, right?
Ooh, dude, you're on the list.
I'm on a Plat 3 players troll list. So I was being super nice to him, but he was like a loon. Because like the current meta in NA solo queue at higher ELOs is everyone plays the I care less about the game than you, so I don't care if we lose card. And it's whoever cares less about losing wins.
Yeah, that's why Hot
losing.
Shot GG is so good. It's because he plays Ash top every day, and he doesn't care if he wins or loses.
No, but it's like a
Masters
really
now.
Yeah, he's Masters. But it's like a really toxic mentality that I don't know if it exists on other servers right now, but I feel like it's only really it's always been present, but I feel like it's kicked way up this season where like every single game at high elo, not every single game, one in 3 games at high elo, there's someone who's AFKs who like just quits because they don't care about the game more than whatever, right? And I had a game yesterday or 2 days ago where there was 3 people on both teams who were playing that like the fuck my team's shit, so I'm not trying. Like on both teams there was 3 players, and it was the battle of which one of them could not care and like AFK in a side lane harder, and that's not fun at all for the game. So I don't know, man. It's a mess. Also, that guy I was paying attention to because he's like, shut the fuck up, you're terrible, you're boosted to diamond. I'm on a 60% win rate account. That's my diamond Smurf, and he just recently hit platinum 1. I'm like, okay, good luck on hitting diamond or something like that. He's like, I'll be diamond by the end of the week. He then proceeded to lose 11 games in a row.
Hey.
Yikes.
So, and he plays nonstop, dude. He's played like 30 games in the last 24 hours. Like, it's insanity. But I guess that's what crazy.
Why are you gonna flame me like that, Aiden, on my Smurf? That's not cool.
It's just, dude, people are psychos. And that was the first psychopath. So usually people like add you, then you just remove them when they're like toxic. He added me, shit talked me at like putting smiley faces after every sentence, like that type of tilted, like that's how mad he was about the game. And then he removed me. So I haven't seen that one. That was good. Yeah, other than that though, I've just been, hanging out, doing my own thing, playing a lot of No Man's Sky, the good stuff. What about you, Colton?
So yeah, I moved to Texas. That's a thing. That's why I've been gone. Have an apartment now, and it's mostly furnished at this point. I still need to get a couple odds and ends, but it's different being on my own in my own place. I don't get to yell at Warren for making a bunch of noise anymore. Other than that, need to get myself a job so I can pay the bills. That'll be fun. But yeah, I've just been mainly working on, getting things ready. So building or buying furniture, getting just, basic apartment shit like plates and all that fun stuff. Yeah, that's been my last 2 weeks, but my computer's back together now. I have internet, so I can play some games. The only real gaming I've done is when we played Clash this weekend. I went to a LAN cafe. We went 1-1 the first day, and then we lost the first one, but then won the consolation bracket the next day. So that was pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
Play tanks, then win.
Yeah.
That's pretty well my week. Nick, how have you been, buddy? I haven't actually talked to you guys in a while.
Yeah, it's been a bit. Yeah, like Aidan was saying, playing No Man's Sky a bunch. Took a small break. My college is making a change where the teachers are supposed to be required to keep us for 3.5 hours after working for 8 hours. So probably going to be playing a lot less for the upcoming future, but
Probably going to be dropping out.
dude, I've considered like if I stay on average until 9 o'clock every night, I'm gonna like file a complaint. Like just to have it on record, this is buck wild, dude. I can't have like back-to-back 15-hour days, like, and 3 15-hour days a week. That's wild. But oh well. Work's going pretty well. Going to a wedding this weekend in Indianapolis, or in Indiana, flying into Indianapolis. So that'll be fun. And then very excited.
Would it be though?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah,
I
you
like
weddings.
I've been to one wedding and it was very fun.
You've only been to one wedding?
Very fun.
I like
I
wedding.
went to Chris's wedding.
I mean, yeah, I just didn't know that was the only wedding you'd been to.
Yeah.
Yeah, weddings are super fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of family, and then none of our friend group is like, I guess, has approached marriage age in the past. I mean, now it's a little different, but yeah, it was fun. It was a
Don't
good time.
worry,
We'll
I'm
see.
gonna marry like 8 people and get a bunch of divorces just so you can go to more weddings.
Thank you. That's very thoughtful of you.
Yeah, being moving to Utah.
You can't do that.
Sorry, I can't say that. I can't say that. My bad.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let's get into the show. We got patch 917, which is live, and with it tomorrow, August 29th, will come Infernal Shen, Infernal Galio, Infernal Varus. I'm sorry. August 29th will be the Elderword series, which will include Ari, Vigar, and Nocturne, and then on September 5th, we'll get Infernal Shen, Galio, and Varus. Did they kind of just like surprise release the Infernal stuff, or
I haven't
people...
seen anything about those.
Yeah,
before.
yeah. Like I knew about the Elderwood stuff, but I saw 0 comments about the Infernal stuff. Yeah.
How inspired is the Elderwood Vigar of Majora's Mask?
I mean a ton. I also love it. It's so good.
I love it a lot. Yeah.
So good. I like all the skins that they're releasing.
They look
I think they
pretty
look
good, dude. They look so good.
So first up on the champion list is Aurelion Sol. Kind of got like a mini rework. His passive damage is decreased, AP ratio is flattened, stars are no longer disabled by crowd control, his Q cooldown now scales, the movement speed associated with the stars increased, the star will keep up with Aurelion Sol, W now expands stars and rotates at a decaying speed, the cooldown is increased early, decreased late, cost no longer will increase over time, the E passive movement speed is removed, the range and cooldown has been increased, and the speed now scales. So I think they're making his laning a little bit worse, but his fighting a lot better.
I think he needed that, honestly.
I think so too. It's kind of a shame that his playstyle is getting changed, just because I think the people who liked Aurelion Sol really liked Aurelion Sol.
It also sucks to have a character
that character.
negative percent of the player base enjoys.
That like 15 people total in the world enjoy and can play. That's okay.
Got Galio. Q cooldown decrease, W mid and max damage increase. The funny part of this is the quote. Galio's been underperforming for the last few patches, so we're helping out to keep him competitive against other choices. I wonder why, right?
So the question is like, can Galio be healthy if he has Flash Taunt available? Right? Because if that's yes, then you need to add it back like yesterday. But if it's no, like, what do you do with this character? Like, do you rework his W entirely?
I think you make him into more of a mage, right? You have to give him better ratios. He needs to be a mage where he doesn't rely on like CC, because having a super easy flash like taunt or flash CC makes characters like potentially shoehorned into support, right? Because then you don't have to build damage on them because you're picking them because they have this mechanic. So I don't know. I feel like you have to give them better ratios.
Yeah. Which I guess they're doing. Well, not currently, but they're increasing his damage, which is...
Yeah.
Alright, up next we have Callista. Base attack damage, base mana, and mana growth have all been increased.
You see her attack damage number?
69. Nice.
Big.
Except it only does 90% of that amount, so it's not actually 69.
What does it need to be true, like, to be 69 after after the 10%.
After minus 10%.
70 something.
There's no way to figure that out, right? Math just doesn't exist, chap.
Yeah,
No.
that's like differential calculus. That's why I need to go to college so that I can learn.
I think
how
they
to do
send
that.
people to the moon to figure out that.
It's 77 point something.
Kale's up next. Her passive bonuses have been adjusted for all 4 forms. Q now refunds mana on champion hit. There's a cast delay, missile speed, and range has been decreased for her Q. The cast time is updated. The enemy shred is decreased, but the duration is increased. Her E bonus damage is decreased later, but the ratio is increased. The on-hit ratio has been updated. And the R, her ultimate cost now scales. The radius is increased. Whew. So they're nerfing her late game, buffing her early game. I believe they shifted her range form to level 6, and her final, like, a flame form to level 11. Yeah. So you get that at level 11 now instead of 16. Yeah, all the other changes. I think this is actually kind of insane.
It's a massive buff. It's like fucking huge. Actually insane,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, even like the Q buff alone. Like, of course, like the fact that now you can become a character at a level 11. Of course, your level 16 is not as strong, but like your level 11 is like, I mean, most of the game takes place around 11, right? Which is the big thing. But like the Q buff, getting mana back on like hitting characters actually gives her a laning phase. You don't just have to sit around until level 6, right? Now you can actually like have some agency in lane.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm very excited. I really enjoy playing Kale. Aidan, I know you're playing. You got him in ARAM, and we're enjoying playing her too.
Yeah, feed until you
weird.
win strategy.
I haven't
True.
played Kale in a while. I used to play her before the rework, and I played her like a couple games after the rework, but not really much. I need to give her a try again.
Yeah. Do you think new Kale plus old Mordekaiser is like the best synergy? You remember with old Mordekaiser, you would feed and then get their ghost. So you
Yeah.
have the Kale feeding, and then you Mordekaiser get the ghost, but then Kale becomes a real character. Oh fuck.
True.
Oh fuck.
Remember the York Mordekaiser lane?
No.
Where you'd intentionally feed in the lane to get the AD carry like 100 kills, and then you'd hope that your mid and top and jungle are
Yeah,
really
you'd
far
make
ahead.
2
So you
clones
just-
of them.
yeah, you gimp their AD carry with Mordekaiser ult, so then you get a Mordekaiser clone, then you can use York ult in the Mordekaiser clone, so you have 2 fed AD carries.
Oh god, I don't remember that, but that sounds really funny.
It's bad, but it was funny if it worked.
It was so hard though, because like you were inting like intentionally, and then you just had to hope that somebody was going to be able to kill that AD carry.
Mm-hmm. Really cool though. Leona got her Q cooldown decreased, which is nice.
I think that's quite strong. I think Leona's already good, and to remove a whole second off of her Q is pretty scary.
Especially with like when you have 40 or 45%, like it was already a ridiculously low cooldown, and now it's just like 2.7 at 45%. I mean, I guess before it was like 3.2 or I don't know. It's real short. Anyway, Lucian base attack damage is going from 61 up to 64, so buffing his
Plus 3D? Plus 3D?
Plus 3D.
Yeah.
Nice little buff there
Nico.
early.
Nico can now deactivate her passive without taking damage or casting another ability. Poggers.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Pantheon is getting some buffs to his Q and his E because that character was too weak. I think those are needed.
Yeah, the thrust gets execute damage, which is kind of wild. It just always has it now.
That's crazy. Kiana, our favorite LCS pick.
I love Kiana, dude.
Her E base damage has been decreased. Her R cooldown has been flattened to 120 seconds at all ranks. So that's a big nerf. Because it used to go 120, 100 down to 80. So 40 seconds of cooldown at max rank.
Mm-hmm.
Rise, base magic resistance increased.
Very cool. Zyra, our cost flattened, cooldown decreased. I think that Zyra buff's kind of similar to like the Karma buff we saw a couple weeks ago. where I think she's a viable support already, and this buff is like a buff that people are going to play her and then find out that she's like actually good, and then they're going to revert it and she's going to still be good because she was already playable, sort of thing. I'd feel like she's kind of out of flavor right now, and I feel like this is one of those buffs that just gets people to play her more than anything. We'll see, though.
Sorry, I had to scroll. Zyra, our cost has been flattened, the cooldown decreased. That's
nope. The one after that, bud.
Oh, did we already talk about Zyra?
Yeah,
oh my god.
Hey, welcome to the show, bud.
No, I'm not here.
There's an hour delay. I got you.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Sorry. With the free-to-play champion rotation or the bug fixes?
The champ rotation.
Oh my god.
Ugh. Okay, free-to-play champion rotation. In 2017, players asked us to expand the weekly free champion rotation beyond just 10 champions. We updated our model. We're officially at 145 champions. As promised, we're officially increasing the number of champions to 15 in the next free-to-play rotation in September. Okay, so yeah, it went from 10 to 15, guys. You get more free champions.
Yeah, that's exciting, I think. And then lots of bug fixes. You can check that out. And then finally the Elderwood and Infernals, like we mentioned, along with their chromas. You guys gonna be getting any of these skins?
I don't want to, but the
but
Vigar ones are real good.
You're gonna get the Vigar.
Look at all the chromas for it.
I'm probably gonna get the Vigar and the Nocturne.
Oh, the different mushrooms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ari one's very bland, actually. What the fuck?
I kind of like the Ari one.
It looks like every one of our other skins, so.
I feel like the issue is that, like, for Elderwood Ari, it's gonna be so similar to just regular Ari in, like, a different area, where it just looks like you put Ari into that location as opposed to it being, like, an entirely different skin.
It's like Nico, but with 9 tails, dude.
Very cool.
Come true.
Oh wow.
Let's talk about the TFT patch, Aidan.
Yeah. So I have it like shortened to make it easy. So they added a new character. They added Pantheon. He's a 5-cost unit. He's a dragon and a guardian. His ult is actually his ult in League of Legends, where he like star falls in and like damages everyone in his path, which is actually pretty cool. The main like benefit of him is going to be the fact that there currently, before Pantheon's release was only 2 dragons in TFT and 2 guardians, and both those require 2 to have like the synergy. So meaning you can now sub out Shyvana for the dragon bonus because she was pretty shit, and now you can sub out Braum for the guardian bonus because Leona was the better of the 2 to have those bonuses, which is really, really cool. That being said, he's a 5-cost unit, so he's going to be pretty hard to get. So I feel like it's balanced overall. I played 1 game today in a normal because ranked was down, and he didn't feel like impressive, but I do think his synergies are really, really strong.
Which champ was it?
Pantheon.
He's a guardian?
Yeah, he's a guardian
Weird.
dragon. He has the dragon's skin on.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. And it's also important to note that the fact that adding another 5 cost to the pool actually nerfs certain comps, right? Like you have Kale comp, like every noble comp in the game, you need Kale, right? Because there's only 6 nobles. So adding another 5 cost to the game actually nerfs Guardian, nerfs comps that rely on like Swain or Nivea or whatever. So I think this is actually a good way of nerfing at least noble. I think noble is like the big one that it hits. So it's kind of cool. As for like actual updates to the system of the game, the first carousel always has 2 costs. You don't feel like shit getting a 1-cost unit. The ghost armies have trait bonuses now. Before, like you wouldn't, like for example, Blitzcrank has the robot bonus, so he starts 100 mana. But when you played against the ghost team, like when there's 7 players left, he wouldn't have he wouldn't have 100% mana at the beginning because he wouldn't get his bonus, right? That's how they like balance that. I don't know if I fully agree with this. So I think it feels bad for the other 7 players or 6 players or whatever when they don't face the ghost and you get to face the ghost. But it also feels bad when you're the player and now that you're facing a ghost, the way that you win the game is doing damage to your opponents. You can't do damage to a ghost army, right? But you can take damage from the ghost army. So losing to the ghost army will feel really shitty, I think. So I don't know how they want to do this. Maybe they like make it so you take reduced damage or something. I don't know. Like it feels like a weird solution. I think this is better than them having no traits and you just rolling them every single time, so it's just a free win for 1 out of the however many players. But I do think it's going to feel real shitty to not do damage to them and then lose and take damage from them. So I don't know. We'll have to
Yeah,
see.
I think the like changing it to they do have bonuses or synergies is definitely better.
It definitely makes more sense for the game. I just think that there's definitely negatives that people don't fully
Yeah, for sure.
think of. They increased the attack speed cap to 5.0, so like stuff like Rage Blade and Wild will be way stronger this patch, and they updated some tooltips. As for buffs and nerfs, I actually broke them down here. So the major buffs this patch are to Rangers, Shapeshifters, Yordles, Warwick, Lysandra, and Lucian. The major nerfs are to Hextech, Noble, Rapid Fire Graves, Gangplank, and Leona. Gangplank got fucking gutted. I actually recently learned that his barrels proc on hits. So I was running like Gangplank comps where you'd run like Hush or
I was doing that for a while.
Morellonomicon. And it feels really good when you just AoE their team and it burns them. So that was a lot of fun, but they completely gutted that character. And then they made some major changes to Assassins where now they gain crit chance for getting synergy, but their crit damage is like reduced a little bit. They changed some healing and healing reduction stuff. And I just feel like the changes this patch are actually really, really interesting. And apparently this is a relatively small patch. 9.18 is supposed to be massive. So I'm excited. I'm glad they change up the meta every week. It's pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, that seems like a fun game mode to change the meta up like pretty drastically for.
Definitely needs it.
Yeah. Nice. Let's talk about let's do a review.
Yeah. Colton, do you want to read our one review this week?
Yes, this is the 5 starries section. You guys didn't say it. And this is from what? All right, the name of the review, cool podcast from I'm a Fish. Pretty dope. Just started listening. When I listened to your recent episode where you talked about outsmiting, I just had to make this comment. As a new main, I would love more contestable monsters. Also, just get rid of Krugs with something better. Krugs give gold but take forever. Why do they exist?
I mean,
yeah.
They exist because they give a lot of gold, right? Like that's their point, is for them to take forever, but they give the most camp gold, like total.
Except when they don't take forever because you're an AoE jungler.
Yeah, that's
that's the problem.
That's
right?
the thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Using a review to get a question in. I like that strat.
Big brain.
Hell yeah! Doesn't have to wait for the email section.
Yeah, he might be like 19th out of 20 on emails, but if he sends in a review, he can be 1 out of 1.
Like, people don't listen to the questions in the email section. People turn off the show. But if we put it in the 5 stars, then people will hear my question.
Yeah, we're gonna have to nerf that. Nice. Hey, we got a bi-weekly discussion, and it's kind of a question that I wanted to pose to you guys. I have pretty strong feelings about it, but I feel like I'm in the minority when it comes to this. So, do you guys think that Riot is turning from a like player-loving, player-first company to something like more greedy and kind of profit-oriented? I have a couple examples of things that a lot of people are getting upset about, and I wanted to know what you guys thought. So, specifically, the removal of game modes, including Twisted Treeline and PvE game modes like Odyssey, Invasion, and the Star Guardian thing, right? Or is that Invasion?
That was Invasion.
But still, yeah.
The addition of Eternals, which we kind of hinted at a couple weeks ago, but nothing really happened until recently, I suppose. So, and then TFT loot boxes. So we can talk about this however you guys want to address it, but just those are the things that I wanted to bring up specifically. You guys have thoughts?
So, start it open. No, but yes.
Okay.
If that may.
Sure.
So if we like broke down those examples, like just like a way to start the discussion, right? Removal of game modes, for example, that just is something that's not financially viable, right? The amount of time that they put into some of these, like creating Invasion, creating Odyssey, creating these worlds, augments, missions, whatever, for people to play them through once and then go, oh, that was fun. Doesn't do anything for them, right?
Yeah.
At best, it's an advertisement for the skins, right? Like, people go, oh, I liked playing as Odyssey Ziggs during this, so I'm going to buy him. But that's a big advertisement, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not worth it. I could see them creating a game mode where there's replayability, but actually creating like content that you play through and go like I was talking about this like last week. I'm not sure if it was in Discord or like personally to you, but Overwatch sometimes has game modes like this or PvE content, if you will. They had one with their anniversary where there was a bunch of skins attached to it, and it was something that you just played through once and you went cool. And I don't think they've done that again. They've had like kind of game modes, like PvE game modes, where you had to defend like the Halloween event, like you had to defend the gate or whatever, which I think had a little bit more replayability. But I don't think they've done another like narrative thing since. And I feel like it's just because it doesn't turn profit for the amount of time invested in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, 100%, right? I think a large portion of the player base is committed to buying the skins or like not buying them as soon as the skins are either announced or showcased, like on YouTube or whatever. And I would wager to say that the actual amount of players who play the PvE game mode and then purchase the skin is very low. I'd be surprised if that were like pretty high. That being said, I do think there is room for PvE game modes if it either has the replayability that you were talking about, or if it like tells a story. You know, I don't think it has to be. I don't think it has to have replayability if you're going to push the story of the event. So, I mean, we'll just take the upcoming Star Guardian one. If there's a PvE game mode where, you know, the story of Zion Rakan becoming Fallen, Guardians, you know, Zoe, and then Nico hiding herself away, if that's portrayed through a PvE game mode, I think that's good. I think that's good for the game. But the fact that they're just PvE game modes that people play one time, there's no story associated with them, you know, because it's told outside of the game mode. There's very little replayability because you find the one or two methods of cheese, and then you just either grind out all the rewards if there are any, or beat the hardest difficulty and then you're done. Like, I don't think that's good for the game, and I don't think that's a good use of resources, and I do think that should be like nipped in the bud.
Like, and I do think people can come out of those and enjoy them, right? You can go, even if you play it once, you can go, holy fuck, that was awesome, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're going to play it again. I feel like that's the problem that they're falling into. And I'm sure that sometimes these PvE game modes are so much fun for them to make, right? I'm sure there's like tons of devs who are like, I'd much rather like spend my like however many months working on like this cool and interactive and brainstorm all these abilities for Odyssey, these augments and stuff. I'm sure it's way more rewarding, but still, like, there's a balance, right? Like, you can't do that consistently if it doesn't do anything for the company, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did enjoy Odyssey, but I think I enjoyed trying to come up with things and complete missions rather than actually playing the game mode, if that made sense. Like, the augments were super sick, but it was actually like playing through the hardest difficulty with the cheese stuff that we were doing, which was the fun part, and not the gameplay itself, I think. Or not the game mode itself, I'll put it that way. Colton, did you have anything? Like, do you feel any way about PvE game modes?
I mean, I don't think you guys covered it. I think right where it's not highly profitable. It's fun, but I can understand why they wouldn't continue doing them. In terms of like big picture answer to this question, I feel like we want to like address some more individual options before we take that approach. Like, we want to talk about Eternals and TFT first, right?
I'd like to go through those, yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna go through those. I think let's do Eternals last because I think that has the most conversation. What do you guys think about the TFT loot boxes? Do you think they're a predatory microtransaction, or do you think they're fine?
I mean, I think they're predatory. I think all loot boxes are predatory, right? Like, it enables some people who can't control themselves, right? And I think there's problems with that, and I think we're seeing movements in like governments to change that in a lot of like countries in the world. So obviously a lot of other people at least agree upon that. That being said, I don't think they're currently a bad thing for the game, right? I think that there should always be another option. Like, you can buy this loot box and it has all these ones and you pull a random one, right? Or you can just buy it for like 60% more. You know what I mean? Like something like that. I think that
how I
should
feel it
always
should
be a
too.
thing.
See, I don't necessarily agree. I think it's fine if they lock away like stuff behind loot boxes that you can't purchase specifically, as long as there's a free way to get loot boxes. Like I would be fine if they locked everything away behind RNG, but every, I don't know, fifth win you got a free like loot box or something like that.
What about like every season? Like, you know, they're having like the beta season. So we're in season 2 for like the beta, right? And this season, the first season, you got your little legend, right? You got a free one, a free mystery box, right? Do you think there's a problem that they didn't do one for this season?
For season 2,
Yeah.
not. I mean, they should, right? They absolutely should.
They should.
If you're participating in a beta, you should get a reward for being in the beta. And I think that's a super cool way to say thank you, to incentivize more players to play the beta so you can get more data, so you can produce a better product. And I think this is like such an easy way to advertise other, like, to get people more involved, I think. I feel like I would play more often, more than zero, if I had a chance to get a little legend for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I remember when the TFT first came out, and there was like a little beta thing, and like upgrading from your sprite, and you got to like pick a little legend. I was like, oh, this is awesome! Like, I'm gonna be able to keep playing and upgrade this little legend, and maybe one day I'll get another one. No, like that's just how I assumed it worked.
I mean, that being said, there is zero gameplay value to having a little legend, right?
Yeah.
All it changes is
But it's a
emotes
morale
and
boost.
animations.
It's a morale boost.
It's a morale boost. Okay, I
You
got
see yourself running around with that little turtle. How are you not gonna like, untiltable?
I do think there is an argument to say it is entirely cosmetic, and therefore it is okay for them to monetize it however they want. Which I think I could see that being a controversial and very unpopular opinion.
I agree. I just think that, like, I think we all agree the fact that loot boxes aren't good. You know what I mean? As a thing in games, you know what I mean? Like, they have to be in. They're going to be in free to play games until they're not allowed to be in free to play games because they turn profits, right?
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like there would be way more outrage, Nick, if they like released a new skin line or something that you could only get through loot boxes.
I think so too. But do you think there would be the same outrage if that was how they existed 10 years ago and continue to exist today?
No, because like look at games like CS:GO where no one fucking complains about skins, right?
Yeah, so I think the thing is we've gotten used to the normal way of monetizing, and they're trying something different, and it's upsetting for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But curious to see if it is. I mean, it's probably more profitable, right?
Yeah, and like once again, they will be in games until they're not allowed to be in games, right?
Yeah,
That's just how it will be. I just think that there should be, like, morally, there should be other ways to get stuff, because I think gambling is a problem, and this just promotes this issue, right?
That's fair. Yes. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That being said, like, do you have any issues with hex set crafting?
No, I have. Okay, I still have issues in the fact that, like, it still once again promotes gambling, right? There are people who go, "Fuck, man, I just like I'll throw another $100 in here. I'll get some more skins because I like rolling for skins, right? That's fun. I like like if I ever spend RP, like if I get RP as like a present from my sister or something like that, right? I'll just like throw it into like boxes rather than skins. I do get enjoyment out of like rolling skins. I think that is a gambling thing. Once again, it's not like I'm fucking addicted to gambling. It's not like I'm in debt because of it. But like there are people who go, well, I just got like that really cool skin, or I'm currently at 8 out of 10 gemstones. So if I put like another $100 in, I'll probably have my gemstones, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's right. It's any gambling in a way can be problematic, but I don't think, morally, and I don't think, especially for like a video game company, like they don't have to be like no gambling ever whatsoever. They don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Hex tech crafting, I'm totally fine with, because right, you never have to put money into it. It's just free rewards, And if you'd rather buy boxes and get random skins, you can, and you might get lucky and you might not. But again, for the most part, all of that content is available by other means, right? If I really want one skin, I don't have to buy 100 boxes and hope that I get a shard. I can just buy the skin. Now, there are the, gemstone skins, which you can make that argument, but hey, you can get those by just playing the game a lot.
Yeah, like if you take away the gambling is a bad thing, it shouldn't be in games argument, Nick, then I think loot boxes, what are they called? Hextech boxes are done way better than most other games, if that makes sense.
Oh,
other
100%.
than like the moral
I feel like
part.
The frequency to which you can get them for free is a lot higher than most other games.
Because the original discussion here was like about Riot being potentially a greedy corporation, and not is Riot morally ethical about loot boxes, right? And I feel like if you look at that path, I feel like they give you so many fucking like skins compared to most games for like free rewards.
Oh, 100%. I it's probably exceeding 30 the amount of skins that I've received for free that I like use whenever I play those champions that I never would have purchased since the introduction of Hextech crafting. I'm sitting on 8 right now that I would never purchase that I really want to craft for myself, like including Project Vayne, which is $20.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I personally don't have an issue with it, I guess.
No,
but I do think I
agree.
tend to lean more morally gray than a lot of other people do.
Like once again, like if you take out the actual like ethics of gambling, like for children in children's games, right? I think that there's not a lot of greed there. I do think that this probably turns more profits than if they didn't have it, because like people do have that want. But once again, that goes back to like the whole gambling thing, which I think is a hard thing to discuss, right?
I feel like, honestly, when you just said that, it made me think, like, what if they put loot boxes behind like an age gate? And I know that's really difficult in games, right? Because it's typically just like type in your birthday and be honest. But I think for me, that's more of my problem with loot boxes in general in gaming, is that like when it takes advantage of like people who aren't able to realize what's going on, typically that's children, right? If I want to waste half of my paycheck on Hextech crafting, I can, and that's my decision, and it's not a good decision, but people should have the right to be stupid and make bad choices. I believe that. But you gotta protect kids and help them like learn how to make those decisions. And I think especially when parents aren't well connected to that and don't understand what's happening, and that like they're blowing all of this money on just gambling, it's like, I mean, there's a reason that 10-year-olds aren't allowed at the roulette table in Vegas.
I mean, I do believe there's a 13 age limit on League of Legends to make an account, if I'm not mistaken. And I actually disagree, Colton. I think it is not failure on, like, I don't think it's morally wrong to, I think it is more of a failure of parenting if your child is spending a lot of money on Hextech, like spending money on loot boxes, like it's your responsibility as a parent to limit the amount of money that they can spend, perhaps explain to them and teach to them like that gambling is wrong, and not necessarily that they shouldn't have access to that, I guess. It's sort of like should game companies just should Rockstar refuse to make a Grand Theft Auto game because kids can play it? No, it should be restricted based on maturity that is determined by parents.
But you're missing a core part of this, is the fact that we're literally calling it gambling, but the only reason it's not like restricted, Nick, is because it's not deemed as gambling, right? Because laws haven't caught up.
It should be deemed as gambling. But
then these people would have an age restriction. You couldn't do it, is what I'm trying to say.
But what I'm saying is that there's an age restriction on League of Legends already.
Yes, but it's not 18.
Or
19 or 21,
okay,
right?
Yes,
Oh,
yes. But if
it's not that higher age, and there's no validation on it. And I think that's my biggest issue, is right, like, you are engaging in online gambling, and all you have to do is enter your email address and say that you're 13.
And also have a credit card.
Yes, but that's a lot easier these days. And even, like, you can also do, like, PayPal, and, like, kids are smart, even if they're making dumb choices. Like, they'll take their parents' card, or they'll go other methods. And I think that, yes, it is ultimately the responsibility of the parent. That being said, I think that there's responsibility on both ends, right? It is the responsibility of a parent, to go back to the Vegas, analogy, to not bring their kid to a casino, hand them $200 and say, go throw it away at blackjack. Mm-hmm. But there's also a responsibility for when that 10-year-old walks through the doors of Caesars, for the fucking staff to say, no, we're not letting you.
That's like where I'm getting hung up, is the fact that in 3 to 5 years time, Nick, when people say, like, when like countries say, yeah, this is gambling, how do they deal with that? Will there be an age restriction that says you have to register something to say that you're 18, or it's literally like locked and they can't even do it because there's no way to properly register it? That's the problem, is it's like this morally gray area that we all agree it's gambling, but there's not the systems in place to prevent children from gambling, right? That's my problem with it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I just feel like a lot of blame is being shifted onto Riot for having this, when
no, yeah,
a lot, like, I would argue that the vast majority of the blame should be on supervision. That, like, there's no reason that a child should be, like, spending money without knowledge from their parents.
I mean, yeah, I don't even think that's the issue. I think, like, this should never be a Riot problem, right? This should be a, like, government whatever problem for, like, different countries in the world, right? You have Belgium, who's, like, outlawed it, but I think that's kind of away from the point. I don't think this means they're greedy or anything. They're doing the best business practice for a free-to-play game. There's no free-to-play games that don't have loot boxes in some sort of way, right? That's just how free-to-play games make their money. And they will continue to make their money that way until there is a law or restriction put in place, right?
Yep, I agree. And then finally, let's get into Eternals, which is kind of the big topic, I guess, for debate.
Yeah.
I think we should. So let's. Did we explain?
Do you want
what
to explain
Eternals
them?
were?
You should explain them again. It's been like a couple weeks.
It has
just
been
like
a couple weeks.
basic.
So essentially, it is paid stat tracking for specific champions, and I guess now you can purchase them for Blue Essence for the basic stuff, and if you want unique champion specific stats, like number of times you charmed someone as Ari, that will cost you some RP. Is that like that? I mean, that's pretty much good, right?
And just to say that their justification was that they had to build a full back end to create this, and not only does it give you stat tracking, but it also adds on to like your mastery emote, and it's a flare in game that you can show. I've been like, this is the most AP I've ever gotten on Vigor in a game or whatever, and just like pops up for like your team or whatever. So they've added a whole back end which costs way more than they expected, so therefore they're charging money for it. And they recently added the Blue Essence part. Originally, it was going to be just basic stats and then one interesting stat, and it was going to cost like 500 RP for a character. But then they recently changed it so that it is going to be 3 basic stats like kills, healing, damage done, or something like that for Blue Essence, which you can purchase. And then there's going to be 3 stats like charmed, dashes, whatever for Ari, which are going to cost RP per character. Which I think is a better way of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely better that some of it's available through Blue Essence. I think, honestly, like, any feature that has a cost, if it's available through Blue Essence, I'm pretty okay with. Because, like, right, it's then, it's not a matter of them trying to, like, take your money. It's, okay, hey, you can either give them your time or your money, and either way, like, you're choosing to play the game and you want this thing, so pick which one's more valuable to you.
So, do you think every skin should be obtainable by Blue Essence?
No,
and I'm fine that they're not, but I guess, like, if, let's say, if they just doubled the cost of every skin in the game, but they were all available through Blue Essence now as well, I'd be okay with that.
Yes, but your argument was that you can pay for these with time or money, but there are things in the game that you can't pay for with time. I guess the thing is, this is entirely optional. Again, something you don't have to pay for, something that that I don't deem predatory in my own personal opinion. And like I said, I tend to think I am a little more, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe
lenient.
it. Sure, lenient than most other people would lean, I think is a good way to put that. And I just see this as something that they put time and effort into, and they like want to be compensated. They're moving that cost onto us. And if you don't if you don't think it's worth your money, then you shouldn't support it financially.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, before they made the change like to separating between Blue Essence and RP, I was like very upset with it. I'm more okay with it now. I definitely think that building a whole backend, adding the master. I've always been okay with the fact that there's a mastery emote in game. It flashes, whatever. All that stuff's cool, and that should cost money because that's a non-essential part of the game at all. I guess stats aren't in general. Definitely the ones that are like goofy things, like number of people charmed or whatever, number of like whatever that led to a kill, right? Those are goofy and sure, and they don't actually mean anything, and they can cost money if you want to pay for them. If you're a RE main, you're going to love those, right? Very, very cool. I think the damage, health, whatever, healing, all that shit, I still personally believe should be free in the game. I think that it's absolutely ridiculous that they were trying to charge RP for it. I think it's reasonable to charge Blue Essence for it, but we had these fucking stats like 5 years ago.
Yes, and I mean you're in review, right? But I would argue that you're paying for immediate access and live stats, like live.
I meant like
live
this
updates. Oh, okay. You meant like that.
They literally had a stats page in the old client, like where it would show all the characters that you played during the rank season and shows all the damage you did with them, all the healing you did with them, etc. Like they didn't have to build this at all, right? Like I agree that like adding the flare where it shows shit in game and stuff, like whatever, that's like they had to build all that. Of course, you shouldn't just be able to like add that and be like, hey guys, you can now show your shit in game and it's free. That's fine, but the fact that they're trying to pay for a thing that was in the game since season 1 is like a little bit problematic to me.
But this hasn't been in the game since season 1, right? Like,
it's been in the game from season 1 till season 6, right?
Oh, they removed it in season 6?
Yeah, when they changed the client over.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which I'm just saying, it's like it feels like basic stats like this that were already in the game. It feels so fucking weird. I'm so glad they're not charging RP for it. Charging RP for this is actually asinine to me.
Yes, 100%. And I do agree that the initial release was like it was bad. Certainly not worth it, and no one should have spent money on that, right? But do you think like paying for stats period is bad?
I don't, especially when like they like once again, I think paying for stats is a weird ground that I can go either way on.
Okay.
Paying for flashing something in game as like a sign of I'm really good at this character, 100% should be paid for. That shouldn't be free. Like they have to build that, it wasn't in the game, whatever. Stats I can go either way on depending on what the stats are, but I think basic stats should be in like most games, and I think there's uproars about having basic stats in games that have them. Like when they added the stat track guns in what's it called? Not CS:GO. I actually don't know if there was any update. The PUBG. When they started adding those, like people were fucking mad because like just you should be able to know how many kills I got with X gun, right? Why not?
I suppose. I mean, my argument would be that there are very few games that actually show stats for free. You just pay for it in a different way, right? Overwatch shows probably the most stats you could ever like want and hope to know, but you're paying for that with the $60 that you paid initially for the game.
40, but yeah.
40. Sorry, sure. But you're paying for that in I mean, you're still paying for it, right? It still comes included with the base game. The base damage dealt, healing dealt, yes, probably should exist for free. Maybe not in game for like or update live or be trackable on maybe a champion like page, but as a ranked review, you certainly should be able to go into and maybe not even track it season wide for free, but into specific games for free, which, if I'm not mistaken, they do, and you're able to see that stuff for free, I guess.
It's stats that you know they already had though, right? Like every single game you play of like Yasuo, at the end of the game you can go in and look at how much damage you did, right? So in theory, you could write this all down. You have like they have the stats, right? There's no way they don't have the stats. It just feels like they definitely built a back end to have all these goofy like fun stats. They obviously built a back end to flash them in game as part of the whole mastery system. It just feels like this is a thing that I'm glad that they're not actually making RP off of it, but it still feels a little bit shitty in some ways that they're charging for it at all. But that's kind of where I lie, if that makes sense. I wouldn't call them greedy. I just feel like that's like a little bit, that's a weird middle ground. And then everything else, I feel like people are overreacting. I feel like you should be able to charge for like a cool, flashy thing that doesn't add like anything to the game. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think that's where the big thing comes down to, is that every single thing that they've offered is entirely cosmetic. And I think that's like, that is a very large indicator of what's okay and what's not. Like, League is still a totally free to play game. You can become rank 1 spending $0 with just an email address. And I think as long as that remains core to League, they are going to have to take very drastic steps in the wrong direction for me to get on board with the Riot is a greedy company.
No, I agree. I think that there's like little things that they haven't done, like adding on, they didn't do MSI rewards or stuff like that, which people are like kind of upset about, which I do think is a little bit odd, but I don't think they're greedy by like any means of the imagination, right? They have profits that they need to make because they're a company. Costs are probably going up as they have more and more employees every year and everything gets bigger every year.
I read that they have 4,000 employees.
They have too many employees. That's a whole nother discussion.
They do have too many employees. Yes.
But like once again, they're a company. They need to make money. I don't think these practices are predatory or in any way other than like ethics of gambling, which we all agree on at a higher level is problematic. But in the current like time period, is not a problem for Riot to deal with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think people are overreacting completely. I just think that they've made a lot of decisions in the past, say 3 months or so, that has led people to come to this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree. It's just very frustrating. I think a good example of this today is that, hey, the collection tab was changed, right? Mm-hmm. No mention of that in the patch notes. They display the amount of Eternals you own on the PBE, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And people are absolutely livid.
People are too mad about that. I think it's
livid.
It's a weird thing that they didn't test at all to like, get any feedback on. I'm assuming it's something to do with the fact they want a splash art to be displayed more or something. So like, I don't know. Either way, it just feels like there should be at least a detailed view and then like a splash art view, you know what I mean? Or like a condensed view and a whatever view. And I do have a little bit of problems with like it showing 0 to 3 like Eternals owned on all your characters. That feels like a little, not predatory, but it feels like it's trying to get to some people to buy stuff, I guess.
Sure, I would definitely argue that it is targeted towards collectors and people who want to own everything.
Yeah, but once again, like I don't think it definitely shouldn't cause the uproar that it did, and it can easily be fixed by the fact that they should just have a like condensed version. There's no reason why they shouldn't, right?
Like just like a big out. I don't know. I think I mentioned this on Discord. I think it's going to be pretty comparable if you're looking for something specifically. The time it takes. I think it will take longer if you are looking at everything overall, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but once again, like just have a thing that makes it so it's just the like little icons again, like solved, right? And then you can have it so it displays the splash art and whatever. It's easy. It feels like it's an easy thing that should be not people.
That being said, I'm in there playing with it right now, and it doesn't even like work fully because when I sort my mastery, it just shows mastery 7 on every character.
Yeah, and if you scroll, it like blips stuff in and out and stuff. It seems a little bit buggy. It feels like something that should have been tested because it wasn't on the PBE at all last patch. But once again, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's certainly buggy. Jesus, did I become English? It's certainly buggy, but there's always going to be bugs in everything, right? It's So I think
Not if you
expecting
ban
everything to
Kha'Zix.
work perfectly 100% of the time always is a little ridiculous. But
Yeah, that's. I think rightly, yeah. There's going to be bugs, and like expecting everything to work 100% always unreasonable. That being said, for a thing where it's displaying like your characters, and there are 4 sorting options, and one of them doesn't work, like I feel like that is a pretty big bug, right? Where like I immediately go and I'm like, oh, sort by champion mastery. Oh, everything shows mastery 7. Like that should have been found out. Now, if there was like a bunch of weird specific bugs, I'm fine with that. But that seems kind of big and unfinished to me. Like that seems like there was just a severe lack of testing as opposed to some weird bug, which I can totally,
I
forgive.
suppose, but is this something that should require extensive testing and resources? I mean, it's
No, I don't think
like,
it takes any
I
resources to put it on PBE the month before, though.
I mean, yes, sure, yes, but I think like I don't know, bugs like this exist all the time, and I don't think it's a bad thing for it to exist day one of a new patch. It's gonna get fixed. It's not remaining like this forever.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's like actually a bad thing or like a huge deal. It's just like as someone who's been playing this game a long time and like is familiar with the amount of money that Riot Games brings in, it's like, come on. Like put it out finished or at least close.
I mean, sure, but like I don't know, there are bugs that we look back on in fond like memory. I mean, Taunty, hello?
Oh, Taunty.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think it's a big deal, that's for sure.
It's just my personal opinion that I don't think Riot has changed that much, and everyone is beginning to get way too upset about the things that they're doing.
No, yeah, big picture, I don't think that they're not a greedy, insatiable monster, as the question phrases it. I think it is clear that they are developing as a corporation and are being more considerate of their profits and costs. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, right? There's part of that where there's like corporate greed is bad, and there's also part of it where, hey, this is a game that I enjoy and I want this company to not go under, so they have to pay attention to their revenues and their costs.
This is a company that produces currently one single game that is baseline free. I'm okay with if they'd like to focus a little bit more on profits, but that's not a very
Once
popular.
again,
Especially with the amount of money that they pour into LCS and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Look at every mobile game ever made, right? Like, of course, it's mobile game versus actual League of Legends. Ironically, there's the leaked video of the mobile game coming out. But every single mobile game in the world has like the fatigue or like energy thing, and you then pay money if you want, right? They're all free games. I would say, like, obviously the environment for mobile games versus like PC games is like a fair bit different, but we have it pretty good. We really do have it pretty good, right? You can play the game however long you want, not spend a dime, really. Like, I spend money because I really like the game.
Yeah, same. I support this game because I enjoy playing it. It's my favorite game of all time, and I think a lot of that is due just to the amount of time that I put into this, right? I don't know.
Like, look at other I think all MOBAs actually do a pretty good job of like making a free to play game that isn't disgusting in like what you have to buy or what you can buy. Like, I've played other MOBAs. I haven't spent a dime in other MOBAs, and I don't feel like I have to, right? Like, I played a lot of Heroes of the Storm. It's not like I was ever like, oh, I really need that. I really need this to like be a better player. And I feel like that's kind of like an outsider's perspective looking into League too. I feel like some people have just gotten too complacent in a way.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. That was quite long, and if you have any feedback that you'd like to offer, you can shoot us an email about it. I'm sure. I think as a whole, this is a topic that a lot of people have very strong opinions about, and both sides, I think, have difficulty understanding the other's viewpoint, and I think that's basic human nature. But nice.
I also think it's really hard to ever come at like from the approach of, oh, this costs me money, it's a good thing, right? Nobody wants to spend more money, and right, so that just automatically before you see any details, it puts a bad taste in your mouth because it's like, oh, I'm spending money on this. No, I don't want that. I want free.
I mean, yeah, and I think like the best example of like, I don't know, speaking with your wallet rather than in Reddit threads where it's a basic echo chamber is, hey, if they release a skin that you don't like, do you like boycott League forever, or do you just not support it? If they're doing something that you don't want to support, don't support that. You know, don't support Eternals if you think it's predatory.
The closest comparison you could like actually make to like start bridging the gap between your understanding, I think, would be like when they raised the price of skins.
Yeah, and that was from inflation, right?
Yeah, well, it was from inflation. More the fact that they like a lot of these skins were adding like more and more things like unique voice lines, unique animations, etc. Where you can start to see where like at least this is like where I start to bridge over for like some mindsets. I don't fully agree because whatever, it's a skin, you don't have to buy it regardless. But I could see like, oh, I buy maybe like a skin a month, right? Like this is what I'm gonna do with like $10 of my income a month, right? I like buying a new skin for one of my characters. Oh, now my new skins are $15. I don't like that, right? And I can see that like at least a bridge there. I don't fully agree with it, but like I definitely think stuff that wasn't in the game, like trying to make that comparison is a little bit whack to my understanding. But I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. I agree. It's human nature to like have an opinion, and not really want to. Well, not even not want to, just not be able to understand the other perspective.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Nice. That was good. Yeah. Let's get into the roundtable question.
Yeah, so last week's question was, what is your favorite League of Legends account name you've seen? Dan on Facebook said, I thought she was level 18. Kenny said, just played an ARAM with someone named Gooch Jiggles. Ashley said, first ward problems. Noah Moore said, top TP 830. I swear to God, I played with someone named top TP 830 like 2 weeks ago. I couldn't find it in my match history, but my match history didn't go back far enough, but I wonder if that was like him plugging his own account name or just us playing against the same player at some point.
Interesting.
From our Discord, Broken Banjo said, I want to play to someone called an orphan, so it said you were slain by an orphan every time you killed someone in chat. Don't worry, I'm secretly... he killed someone in chat. Don't worry, I'm secretly bad. I feel like that used to happen in like the Halo, like old Xbox days all the time. Like a lot of people would have like names that were like that, you know what I mean? Like you were slain by whatever.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that like recently.
That was what Warren's league name is. The Animals was like, don't feed the animals.
Oh, I never got that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's funny. Also from our Discord, Gearbox Dragon said Ornhub. The Mighty Throb said, my friend has had Diva since before Diva was announced from Overwatch. I think that's so cool. Like all the people who had like certain names in League before there was a character named that. What was like the first like big one that caused Graves? It was Graves.
Was it Graves? Okay.
Where there was like a big post where it's like, hey, they just changed my account name. But I think they like gave him a bunch of RP and gave him the character or something like that. But it's like a weird thing where it can overlap. David the Sej guy said, never Ash to Malf. And then last but not least, Kasek said, oh, hi, Deathmark from a Zed player. That's really
hi,
funny.
Nice.
And then this week's question is actually suggested.
Let me answer it, Aidan. I wasn't here last week.
Oh, what if I don't want to hear your answer?
Okay, that's fine. We can move on.
Tell me your answer.
So one of my friends that I've been playing, used to play a lot more with, he was like one of the first people I played League with. His name is No One Ganks Like Gaston. And
nice.
Ooh, I love that name.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's real good.
That is good. This week's question is a suggestion from Joford from our Discord. And he said, what is your favorite skin that you own for a champion that you can't play well? So a character that you just suck at, but you're like, that skin's too good and you bought it. Speaking of fucking practices, we're supporting fucking shilling for shit you don't actually want.
How about literally any Aurelia skin? I am dog shit at Aurelia.
Do you own a couple?
Let me see real quick.
It sucks when you own like a couple skins and you're like, I'm terrible at this character. Not only am I not going to play them enough to enjoy one skin, I'm never going to enjoy them enough to play three different skins.
I certainly own more than one. I think.
Like I own 5 Riven skins, and I'm like mastery 2.
Let's see. I own Infiltrator. I own Frostblade. I own Horn of the Lotus. And I'm dog shit at her like a lot, real bad.
Yeah.
But they're all so good. Yeah.
What about you, Colton?
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I just have so many skins for characters I don't play or don't play anymore. Like I was just saying, I've got like 5 Riven skins, and I don't think I've played Riven in like a year. Yasuo, I think I've got 3 or 4 skins. I don't play that character. I mean, there's a lot because I spend too much money on this game. But there's not really one in my mind that sticks out. As like, oh man, and I guess maybe like the legendary skins that I've purchased right throughout the history of the game, where I've like bought them all. It's like I don't really play Sona anymore or Ezreal even.
Oh, you mean the ultimate skins?
Ultimate skins.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And like, even though Pulsefire Ezreal is real cool, even when I do play Ezreal, I rarely pick it.
As for myself, so mine is for a really easy character. I just can't play them. It's Jax. I don't think I've ever had a good game on Jax in my life. But I shelled out like $35 on eBay for Pax Jax like 7 years ago.
That's fair.
That's one of my favorite skins of the game, though. It's just whenever I use them, people will go, "Holy fuck, is that Pax Jax?" They're like, "I've never seen that skin before," and then I feed on it every single time.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if you want to tell us what your favorite skin is for a character that you just can't play, hit us up on our Facebook page, send us an email, mail@leakcastpodcast.com, or come into our Discord and post in our roundtable section.
Pog, a cheese pick.
Dude, I've been busy making furniture and shit. I didn't plan one, but here's...
Good, because Aidan has one.
I have one. I played against an ranked Colton. It's not even that good because I beat them in ranked. We smashed them. But they played Yas Volley Bottom, and I checked they only play Yas Volley Bottom together. And I feel like it was scary. So it wasn't good. But Yasuo was a really strong early game character, and Volibear is just big. So when they both just run at you, Yasuo starts dashing through minions, Volibear is just running at you, and you just don't want to be anywhere near that lane. Like, it's the most scary thing. They do nothing. But I feel like it would be fun. I want to play that with someone if one of you two wants to play either Yasuo or Volibear.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. I just feel like it's not good, but most of your picks aren't good. And I saw this one in ranked at Diamond, so it's probably better than most of your picks, right?
Nah, I could play every single cheese pick I've ever put out there in Challenge or solo queue and do fine.
And I like this pick because obviously there's better characters to play with Yasuo as support, right? Like characters that would like give you multi-man knockups, but no. Just Volibear because he's big. And I call it the big boys bot lane.
So big.
The BBB.
Yeah.
Big baller brand.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Let's talk about the LCS. Let me pull it up.
You don't have a perfect memory of what happened in those series?
No, mostly because... Alright, so I was thinking about it, Aidan, because you mentioned that Liquid Cloud9 was like some of the best League played.
Yeah.
I think that whole day kind of got ruined by the international grand finals, where, in my opinion, I get more like enjoyment out of watching competitive Dota versus competitive League. Maybe it's because it's like still this wonder-filled like, holy shit, I didn't know you could do that in like in Dota versus in League, where I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, he did it. But I'm maybe that's it.
And don't get me wrong, it wasn't the best League of Legends. It was just some of the more entertaining. Like every game was kind of like a bloodbath, which was way more fun than watching. Like there was no Sona Tarek, like shit like that. It was good.
And they were actually competitive series, which like every single time playoffs comes around, people are just like, I want best of fives to go 5 games, and it actually happened this time. And it wasn't like completely one-sided. It was just nonsense happening. Like there were some competitive games.
Some of the games, I felt like the games in which Cloud9 won, they barely won, but when Team Liquid was winning, they were smashing for the most part.
Well, the last game was like a little bit of a disappointment, but the rest of the games I thought were really a lot of fun.
Yeah. But first on Saturday, CLG and Clutch for third place. my boys, dude. Fucking heart
That's pretty
attack. Reverse sweep coming out from CLG. They took third place. So that's pretty exciting. And then on Sunday, Liquid Cloud9 won 5 games, 3-2 Liquid, winning their back-to-back-to-back-to-back NALCS championship. Actually wild. I believe Doublelift has now won 50% of all NALCS championships. And that's after he didn't.
God.
And that's after he didn't win one for like 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that is insane.
That's crazy.
Insane for a player who's been in the league for this long to be performing at that level is wild.
Maybe he's pretty good at the game.
Maybe he's like probably the best NA player of all time. I don't even think that's an argument. But yeah, that was sweet.
What was Thorin's tweet about Sneaky? Fuck, let me find it. It was so funny, dude.
Oh,
I don't usually like.
Oh
was,
God.
Oh, I'm finding it.
It was like Sneaky. Something did more damage than Sneaky, right?
No.
Or is it something else?
No. Oh, hold on.
It's
just like.
Did you read that whole string of tweets?
No, I didn't.
It was a fucking string of him just going in on Cloud9 and Cloud9 fans.
I mean, yeah. Hold on, I found his Twitter. Fucking let me find this. What day was the finals on? It's too good not to say.
Oh God, it was Sunday the 25th.
Oh God, he tweets so much. What the fuck? Okay, yeah, we can just go into the
you
one while I
search
find
through
this.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then moving on to EU, we had best okay, finally, yes, Friday. Rogue 3-0'd Splice to move on.
That was surprising.
Schalke 3-1 Team Vitality to move on. And then this weekend Rogue will play Schalke, G2 will play Fnatic, and the NA Gauntlet will start. So
I found the tweet, by the way. It's Sneaky's best ever cosplay was pretending to be a top tier
yep.
carry for the last 2 years.
Yep. Holy shit.
Oh fuck. It's true though. Like he just doesn't look that impressive, man. Like
Yeah. Let me okay, here we go. Thorin with the shots after the NA LCS finals. Let me see. Tweet 1. Haha, TL forever fourth. Wait, I gotta find a good one. Good one.
Good one.
On the next episode of Leaguecast Reads Twitter.
It was just like,
hey, dude.
Remember the whole meme about Team Liquid being forever tied with the number 4? Only team to ever win 4 splits of LCS. Meanwhile, TSM wish they could even finish 4th. The singer in the opening did more damage than Cloud9 this game. Looking forward to hearing how all of the casters and analysts were wrong, and actually he played. Oh wait, I don't remember what that was. If Cloud9 are going to use Licorice this way, just go ahead and trade him for Hanser. He has the style of play completely down, and will let your mid and 80 carry all they like. Just like shitting on Cloud9, like
He's
hard.
got good banter though. I like.
He does. I hate when he bans my team, but I love the bans.
Yeah. So do you want to make predictions for next week for Rogue, SO4, and G2 Fnatic?
I don't know anything about it, so I'm gonna go with Schalke because I don't like Rogue's icon.
Schalke should win. Like, obviously, like Spice is actually favored over Rogue, but Rogue 3-0'd them, so like maybe there's gonna be like a little bit of competition there. But I feel like SO4 is still better.
Pog, G2 Fnatic.
Probably SO4, and then G2.
This is
G2,
gonna be a fucking slobber knocker, my dude. A barn
or it's
burner.
gonna be a real good 3-0.
True. Yeah. It's gonna be entertaining. Period.
Yeah.
It's gotta be G2. It's gotta be G2,
yeah,
right?
you can't not bet against them, right?
My heart wants to say Fnatic, but my brain says G2 100%.
It'd be cool if Fnatic upset them, but
I think I want Fnatic to win just so G2 has to play seriously, and we just get to see some fucking good League of Legends. Right?
I hope, Nick, perfect world. First game, G2 smashes, like not even close, right? Because they're the best team ever. Game 2, they troll pick a little bit, and Fnatic just wipes the floor with them, and then they play like regular again, and Fnatic wipes the floor with them, and then they have to try so hard to like come back. That would be good, right?
Yeah. I think like I want to see. I think G2 is a better team, but I think they have a hubristic flaw that Fnatic can exploit if they I like. Let me put it this way. I think Fnatic is in a better spot overall if they lose game one, which is weird, right? But and then we have the Gauntlet Clutch versus FlyQuest. It's got to be Clutch, right? Clutch. I think. I think it should be Clutch versus CLG for another best of 5 to see who goes to Worlds. But
I think that team will go to Worlds. I don't think there's any way TSM beats any of the team. I think TSM would struggle to beat FlyQuest right now.
I think so too.
So I literally think it's going to be, obviously, I don't see a world where FlyQuest beats Clutch, and then I think the real world competition is CLG versus Clutch,
and
which is fine. I'm fine with either of those teams. I mean, like,
I'm
both
fine
teams
with
deserve
the
it.
teams too. I'm fine with either of the teams too. Obviously, I want CLG to go, but I think Clutch is so fun to watch, and they just bring such a unique, like, we're just gonna fucking fight you all the time, like, style.
Just gonna go to Rift Herald in 10 minutes.
We're gonna go to Rift Herald in 10 minutes. You can meet us there, and that's it. Like, that's the game. So that's fun. Yeah. Let's get into mail fight. We I think this is the record for the most emails that we've ever received, which is 20. So, whew, let's do it. First email is from Broken Clockwork. He says, "Hey guys, love the show. Just had 2 questions for you. I started getting into ARAM a lot more after grinding my way into silver and burning out from ranked. Are there any benefits that you can get from playing ARAM that will carry over into Summoner's Rift, or is it all just silly for fun nonsense? Second question, what champion has the best potential to make highlight plays? Thanks again for the entertainment, guys. You are awesome. Sincerely, Broken Clockwork." Absolutely, I think there are like ways you can utilize experience from ARAM into like and transition that into Summoner's Rift. I think like team fighting and just getting better at team fighting in general is probably the biggest like tick mark you can check from that ARAM.
Yeah, definitely. I think team fighting is a big one. I think like landing and dodging skill shots. Obviously, you can
ironically,
a lot of that.
Yeah. I mean, there's no counterplay, right?
No counterplay, but just getting used to like operating your character and like practicing your combos. I think ARAM is a great place to pick up a new character where you don't really have the lane. It's not as serious, but you can learn how to actually like operate the character.
Yeah,
and then maybe bring it into a normal game later.
Mm-hmm. And I think getting to experiment with more diverse builds and maybe things you wouldn't normally go. Because it is just an ARAM that at the end of the day doesn't mean anything, and you get income more quickly, right? I would never go Manamune, Essence Reaver, Jinx on Summoner's Rift, but I would on ARAM because that just sounds more fun.
Or like we had a discussion in our Discord a couple days ago about someone said like their friend mentioned that they think API Rellio would be decent, which probably isn't the case, but I was trying to theory craft. Like I actually took it like super seriously in the fact that what would be good about her being AP? So like the fact that she's an 80 based character where her passive scales off attack speed, then she does more damage with auto attacks, means she obviously wants to be AD, but her passive does magic damage, so therefore maybe magic pen could be decent on her. So I theorized a build where like maybe you can have like throw in a magic pen item as like a later item. I still think it's probably less good than regular, but ARAM would be like the place to try that. Throw in like a late game like magic pen item.
Yeah,
like why not, right? And see how much like it actually helps your autos, right?
Or even just like go a Nashor's Tooth, or maybe a Wit's End, or both, and see how it feels. Like then you get a lot of auto attacks off. You're dealing a lot of magic damage every single hit. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Which champion has the best potential to make highlight plays? It's got to be Yasuo, right?
My Yasuo was fucking insane in that ARAM.
That was fucking nuts. That was
like
fucking nuts.
Yasuo. I think Akali is up there, and so is Zed. But I think Yasuo is probably the clear outlier. Anything with like high mobility and low cooldowns, where you can do a lot of things.
I also just say 80 carries in general? I think as well.
True. Yeah. True. But I think it takes a lot of skill to play 80 carry at the level that you would to make highlight plays. Like you not only have to be better than everyone else on the other team, you have to be way better, I think.
Yeah. That's fair. Like sorry, go ahead.
No. I was gonna go off into another champion.
I was just gonna like agree with your Yasuo thing in that fact. I guess if it's best potential, Yasuo's probably the reason, because I don't know how many times, Nick, I've seen like a Yasuo in a ranked game just fucking go like 20-0, you know what I mean? Like crazy. And I'm like, holy fuck, this guy's a Smurf, right? There's no way this guy isn't a Smurf. And then I see that he's like 900 games hard stuck Yasuo only, and he just had like a really good game, right?
Yeah.
But like, there's games where you're like, this guy, based on this performance, looks like he could be like a high diamond player, but he's not, right? It's just that he had a crazy game. So probably, yeah, I think Yasuo's actually fair.
Yeah. I would like to special shout out to Gragas. I fucking love watching like one-shot Gragas plays. That's so sick. So sick. Thanks, Clockwork. Thanks, Clockwork.
Next email is also from a broken individual. This one's from Broken Banjo. What?
Pronounced Shermai.
Shermai, it's a bit of Shermai, all. Broken Banjo here. I was listening to the last episode and thought of a few Nocturne alt ideas. First one is like a taunt where the enemy attacks his nearest ally champion for 3 seconds with auto attacks. Second is a bit like New Mordekaiser alt, where if you kill the enemy in a specific duration, you inhabit their body until they respawn, or you reactivate alts to get out. Wouldn't want to be stuck inside the body of a Janna. I don't know.
You're the only one.
An idea I wouldn't mind seeing in game, as you said, like the idea of Silas's style of no two games the same, is make it work on fractions. I think he means factions, like in TFT, and it's based on your team. So example, if you have a gunslinger on your team, you have access to one ult, void another, etc. Sorry if I babbled on. Keep up the great work. Your neighborhood crappy instrument, Broken Banjo. I really like that second one. I really like the second one where you're like, if you kill them, you get to inhabit them for a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But that's just better old Mordekaiser alt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Banjo. Next is from Danielle. Ooh, Aidan, you'll be interested for this one. Hey guys, I love your show and it's helping me understand. Actually, do you want to read this one, Aidan?
Yeah, I love reading. Hey guys,
you'll love reading this one, I promise.
I love your show. It's helping me understand the game a lot better. My league name is None Pizza Left Beef. Yeah, like the good old meme. And I'm one trick pony, and I've been for almost 2.5 years. I play Shiv non-stop, and just wondering if you have any advice for motivation to branch out. I haven't been playing much lately, and it has probably something to do with doing the same thing over and over. Do you have any champs you'd suggest, not support, that will give me a good feel for using mana, since I have never had to worry about that with Shyvana? Also, I listened to episode 183, and I have an answer about your ear-rubbing combo.
I think
I have a mental...
I think it should have been 383?
Yeah. And I'm a mental health therapist, and I've gone through an occupational therapy and mental health counseling continuing education course, and I learned that rubbing your ears is a self-soothing technique, so it'll help with sleep and de-stressing. Thanks for all you do. Catch you on the Rift side, Danielle. Awesome, that's really cool.
So yeah, rubbing your ears actually does work.
Yeah. Okay, that's. Or you were right, and they were just trying to get us narc on ourselves.
True.
Any self-narcs?
Self-narcs? Any DIE self-narc? So any, like, I don't know if there's really any champions super similar to Shyvana. I think she has a pretty, like, unique kit.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were to suggest one, who would you suggest? I feel like baseline has to be AoE, right?
I was thinking, like, Gnar almost.
Yeah, I think she wants to stick jungle, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
I would assume she plays Shyvana in the jungle. Otherwise, it's
she just said
wild.
not support. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay, so yeah, another jungler similar to Shyvana.
That uses mana.
It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
That uses mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went towards, like, I think Udyr, like, serves a ish purpose, because they're both, like, primarily auto attack based unless you go AP. Alternatively, something like Nocturne, maybe?
It's hard. It's like a weird thing to quantify, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to think, right? Because like she's an AOE heavy clear and like farm character with that not super strong ganks, but good like dueling and dragon control. So
Yeah, it's tough.
yeah.
We're getting
It's kinda
Sejuani's
unique
in
in
the
that
chat
way.
from Confucius was a nerd. Poggers, good name. It's
Like,
tough,
is
yeah.
it weird that I want to say Jax?
No, I think Jax is a good one.
I think Jax
Because
is
he's
actually a pretty good
farm
example,
heavy, very similar to the fact that they both like jump in and do DPS. I feel like mana management on him is not hard, but it is a thing that if you spam stuff, you will run out. Compared to like, there
Yeah.
are some junglers that you can spam abilities all day, you won't run out. And I feel like that's not healthy if you want to learn how to use mana management. But he is, I don't know. I guess like hyper carries are a weird thing to recommend to someone, but he is farm heavy and he does do similar things, even though they're not very similar characters. I guess.
Yeah, he's a little bit less AoE focused, but I think that's a good comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I would stick to something farm focused at least.
Yeah. Thanks for the email, Danielle. Next email is from Gary the Goomba. Shout out to Mountain Drew and his dedication. All right, let's not do that. What about this idea for a Nocturne ult? The target of his ult enters a nightmarish state, which is similar to Mordekaiser ult where the screen changes, where allies can appear as enemies, causing you to potentially attack your own team. The target would maybe do reduced damage, so your ally Jinx doesn't demolish your entire team with rockets, but could still take damage from the enemy team as well. Thoughts? I think we should go very parallel to this, and it's a nightmare state where you can deal friendly fire damage.
That's what I was thinking. Like, what if like your screen goes like black for half a second, and then every character is just Nocturne, allies and enemies,
Oh, that's
And you
fucking
just-
wild.
and you just need to like,
That's
oh, okay,
so sick.
I guess this is them.
I think the illusion would have to disappear if you hit him once.
Maybe, yeah. But wouldn't that be so cool? Like
That'd be
every
so
character is
sick.
just Nocturne now.
Holy shit. Alright, boys. Literally every person is Nocturne. Good luck. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Thanks, Gary. I like that. I like that a lot.
Next email is from Keg. It says, "Hey Leadcast, Keg here. Today I have two topics for you to discuss. I've lately been swapping from support to playing jungle again. The main reason for this is because holy shit, most people that queue for jungle are garbage at the role. No
True.
ganks, no priority on drakes, no idea how to path. I remember everyone blames jungle for the loss, being a meme back in Season 4, but I feel it's more valid today than ever. That brings me to my first topic. Is jungle too difficult of a role for how much it decides the outcome of the game? For my money, I'd want Riot to take away impact from the jungle role by tuning back camp XP so junglers hit level 3 later. Also, either push Scuttle back to 10 minutes or remove it. My second question for you guys is, what's your opinion on Shaco in the current meta? I used to play him back in Seasons 5 and 6 as he's been my jungler of choice ever since my return, being a counter-jungling orangutan. I love his ability to fuck with people, and then he's one of those characters you can always improve your micro with. Keep your ears stiff basically means stay alert, as some animals like wolves stiffen and perk up their ears when they're attentive. It's a saying used to convey that you're wishing someone to keep on the grind and stay mentally and physically sound. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Nice.
Want to break this down?
Yeah. So the first one, I kind of agree. I think you shouldn't be able to hit level 3 from one side of the map. I think you should have to go to the other side of the map and take it can even just be one camp, but you shouldn't be able to stay red side, hit level 3, and then gank red side, in my opinion. And I think that's currently the only issue I have with jungle. But jungle is such a high skill ceiling role because you have the most impact on every single lane in the map, potentially.
I don't love the current state of the jungle just because of the mismatch in experience and gold between the two sides. I feel like it really limits your choices as a jungler when one side is just better, clearly. I would love to see them change things around and, either move camps or change rewards.
You know how to fix this? You swap Gromp and
red
Krugs.
blue. Or Gromp and Krugs,
Yeah, done. Mission accomplished. Thank you, Riot. I'll take my paycheck in the mail.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, like if you swap Gromp and Krugs, that'd be a way to take care of this. You could, do some things for like first clear on camps, having a particular different thing to change up the pacing of jungle without really heavily affecting the role later on, where it's like, hey, if you're first clear, there's maybe like a debuff of like, hey, you cleared one on the red side, so your other red side camps are going to be less, or maybe it's that first red and first blue are bonus EXP or something like that. I think there's a lot of ways to go about it, but yeah, I don't love that you can stick on one side, and I don't love that the red side is just clearly better. Like Krugs is significantly better than Gromp, Raptors is significantly better than Wolves, and red is significantly better than blue. Like they're just all clearly better, and I don't think that's a good way to have options as a jungler when you have to be on one side to clear best.
Little things like nerfing red's regen I think would help too. I feel like being able to start red, like it's one thing, some junglers do need blue, I agree. I really don't think they do, but like in theory, especially at lower elos to do. But starting red is actually just so good. You end the jungle like at full HP versus if you start blue, you're gonna always end at like half. You know what I mean? It actually like even that alone is like too much of an imbalance, I think.
What if they add a little bit of health regen to blue buff? Maybe take away a little bit of the mana regen?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It feels like red's obviously supposed to be red for health and blue's blue for mana. That's the reason why the red has health regen. It just feels like it's too strong. Like because you can get away with
because it gives the health regen
regen.
and the extra damage, right? Whereas blue just gives the mana regen.
Yeah, well, blue also gives cooldown reduction is like the counter.
Oh,
to
that's
that.
true. That's true. Yeah.
But it's more the fact that I think we've gotten to a point where like you can spam abilities without using your entire mana bar. This isn't Dota where you use one ability and then all your mana's gone. So blue is less effective to keep. You don't need mana. Like you don't need mana regen to survive the jungle, right? You can still do a full clear and still have like a little bit of mana left over. Whereas like your health is more of a finite resource, I think.
Yeah, for sure. What's our opinion on Shaco? I think he is one of the worst abilities in the game, and I think everything else is probably fine. His E needs to do something, like more than it does now. It does 0 damage unless you max it, but then you're getting half a second of stealth with your Q.
Yeah,
which is unplayable, right? You can't play Shaco like that. I think. So. It's
good. Sorry, God.
I was just gonna say I think he's Wiener right now. His E needs to be better.
He is like the best. Like Jake, there's very few characters in the game. I think I heard this on a podcast, something like that. It's not a good way to look at the game, especially like from a competitive perspective. But for like a solo queue perspective, like for weird characters like Shakos, Alawis, Heimerdingers, like those weird like off like picks, even though they're not like always good. Check the ELO of like the top 10 players playing the character on your server. That's like honestly a good metric. Like right now, I'm looking. There's one Master Shaco player, and then that's all. Everyone else is like a Diamond 1 or below player. There's no Challenger or Grandmaster Shaco players on the entire NA server, which probably means the character is not very good. Which is kind of sad because you look 2 years ago when like there was like 10 Shakos in the top 50. That was when he was OP, right? Yeah. So I think those weird characters, just check where like their main hover, honestly. Like, I think it was like I can't remember who was saying it, but there was like an Olawi main on Korea where that's how people would always check if she was good or not. They'd be like, rank. Oh, is she Diamond? Is she, yeah, they'd be like, is she Challenger or is she D2? Like, that's awesome. Honestly, though.
No, I think that's a really good metric to base those fringe picks on. And I think, that goes to show what I was going to say is like Shaco is not that great right now. And I'd love to see just like a significant rework to him. I think that he's not like I think you could make small changes and he'd be okay again, right? Like if you just changed his numbers, he'd be okay. I'd love to see them rework Shaco and just like come at him with a new direction.
I think a really cool way to change that would, I think, moving the clone to his Q. Like when he leaves stealth, a clone is spawned. But there would be, I don't know, some way to detect which one is which. Like maybe the colors are just a little weird or inverted or whatever. And then just have an ultimate ability, I think that'd be cool. Thank you.
Nah, that'd be lame.
Okay. What's up?
So that'd be lame.
He's shitting on you.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you, Keg. Next email is from Olmersh, who says, subject, hello, message body, love the podcast, fairly new listener, started season 9. For that roundtable question about what stat you would want, I'd like to know how many flashes I've attached to with Warwick Q. That's a good one. I've made
That's
Warwick
really good.
all the way to gold, but hit a bit of a plateau. Your last Metageyser featuring a Mumu got me to try him, and I love him. Only 3 games in ranked so far, but 3-0. Keep up the great podcast, and see you on the Rift in Diamond when I one-trick a Mumu to the top. Hell yeah, dude. We'll see you there.
Woo!
Yeah,
That's
and
actually
Olmersh,
sick.
Just remember this, okay? You can't spell plateau without plat, so you're gonna get out of gold, bud. Thank you.
That was the worst thing you said on this podcast. Want me to edit that out for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe you can edit in a funnier joke.
Yeah, let me go back to the drawing board on that one. I'll record something later, and you can post it right in there.
Yeah.
You gotta hit the ground running. We're not giving you any leniency with your jokes. That's cool. Do you guys ever, like, if we talk about a champion, do you guys ever feel like, fuck, I want to play that champion so bad? Like, does that happen
When
to
we
you
do,
guys?
I normally do.
Yeah.
Like anytime we talk about a character, I'm like, oh man, you haven't played that character in forever.
Like, Keg's question about the jungle makes me want to play play jungle. Thank you. I guess scroll up. Olmersh for your email.
All right, yeah. Next question is from Wayne. Gents, longtime listener here since about episode 50. Last
Damn,
mail
dude.
I sent in was read by Henderson.
Damn, dude.
Period. Fuck Henderson. Period. I remember for episode 100, you guys live streamed it on Twitch. It had Nick, Aidan, Chris, and Henderson using push to talk on his Xbox controller. Any thoughts on doing this again? It was cool to put faces to the voice of the time. Maybe Aidan could show us his socks. Thanks, my boys. Mick, the King Cooper, Adrian Frost Rock Arts, and Bolton Blue Basket Sweat.
I like this trend of everyone messing up our names.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's fun because, like, Aidan, there's a few ways to spell Aidan, so, like, all the time we'd get misspellings of Aidan, just, like, incidentally.
When people
and,
just spell my name, they just spell it wrong. So, like, it's fun. It's fun all the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
So now me and Nick get to join in on the fun.
True. Maybe. I'm not opposed to live streaming the show.
Maybe for episode 400.
Yeah.
We could maybe do that. That'd be cool.
Pog, thanks, Wayne. Fucking good to hear you back, dude. Or good to hear from you. It's been a very long time since Henderson was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He still hangs out in TeamSpeak, though, if you want to tell him how you feel.
Yeah, if you want to tell... no,
He'll tell you to
we can't
fuck
endorse
right
that,
off.
right? We cannot endorse that. It's like... it's like when people go up to the actress that plays Dee from It's Always Sunny and say, you're a bitch. Like, that's not cool. Next email's from Richard. Hey, Leecast, Spotify listener here. I went to leave you guys a review, but unfortunately I don't think Spotify has that feature. Correct me if I'm trolling. I don't think you are. I don't think there's a
You're
feature. Anyways, I give you guys 5.014 out of 5.014 stars in my heart. I'm new to League, and in fact pretty new to any sort of game of this type. As you can imagine, it's been hard to learn coming into the game in Season 9. But you guys have given me tons of advice about the game and laughs on my way to work. I did think of an interesting discussion question. I'm not sure if this has ever been brought up, but how do you think the game would change if every completed item in Summoner's Rift could only be built by one champion per game? Example, someone buys a Zhonya's and this item is now gone from the shop, so no other item can purchase it for the rest of that game. Or maybe this just applies to your own team since there are 2 shops. Anyways, thought this was an interesting idea since you guys are always trying to come up with new game modes. Keep up the good work. Rest in peace, Tom Kench. Colton, good luck on your move to Texas. All the best, Richard. I think that would be so fun.
That would be so fun.
Like, I'm picturing you get ahead, you look at the item components of what like the enemy AD carry is who's behind, and you just buy that item to fuck them.
Yeah, right. Or like you just like your support, instead of building support items, just starts building components. You're like, wait. Okay, I'm just gonna build the dagger and like fucking Caulfield, so that like you can't have them. Like you can't piece these things together because I already have that.
Would the meta evolve that you like have to hold, like you wouldn't buy items until you could purchase the full item?
Maybe, because you'd have to like start selling things. Yeah, like if you both had zeal items would be pretty good, but like you're both like working towards your Infinity Edge, and you're like, fuck, I guess I'm going Essence Reaver now.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah, that'd
and
be
like
fun.
I'm just imagining it'd be so funny. Like I could see supports buying like partial items to fuck other people over. Like, oh, I just have this pickaxe, so you can't have it. But then when I base with my 80 carry, I'm gonna sell mine so that he can buy it.
Yeah.
It'd be so
Or
funny.
you just buy a BF sword and then just hold on to it the whole game.
Yeah, you gotta wait for 2,000.
Yeah. I would buy Zonia's on every single character every time ever, so no one else could deal with it. So I wouldn't have to deal with it. Oh boy. All right. Thank you, Richard. Next email is. Wait, did I read?
Yeah, you read the last one.
I read the
This
last
one's
one.
me.
Yeah.
This one is from Scavis. Hi, guys. Like many other recent write-ins, I have achieved a new ranked record this season. However, I also see that I am in similar percentile as last season. Both last season's Plat 2 and this season's D4 are about 4% from the top of the rank ladder. Would you explain what changes have led to Diamond tier doubling in size this season? Any links, like an infographic for that? The percentage of players in D4 and above has decreased from 4.18%.
No, you say that word, dude. He put that word in there for a reason.
Monotonically?
I don't know what that means, but I'm very impressed.
From 4.18% in May to 3.69% in August. Are we just seeing leftover bloating from early season LP inflation bug? So part of it's that, part of it's like the addition of Grandmaster, right?
Yeah, part of it's like the fact that they kind of like removed Diamond 5, so they kind of made Diamond 4 into like a Platinum 2, Platinum 1, Diamond 4, Diamond 5 division in a way. Part of it's the fact that at the beginning of the season there was like a weird bug where like people, you mentioned the LP inflation bug where like you just gain a ton of points and you wouldn't really lose any. Like a lot of people who were Diamond 5 got Challenger from that, so that's a lot of it. And some of it is the fact that I didn't really look at where you got your stats from, but if they're different times of the year, if they're August, I guess it doesn't make sense. But if you're looking at the end of the season last year versus August now, there's a lot of people who only play ranked for the rewards. So meaning they'll leave it to the very end. Like usually I think there's like 1.4 million people who get ranked in NA is what I see. Whereas right now there is where did I see this? Where is it? Oh, here it is. But currently there is... Oh, there's 1.5. Okay, that's weird. I was going to say, like, usually... I think there was, like, 1.4 last season. There's actually more people playing ranked this season last year. But either way, like, not everyone's ranked, and therefore the average player is probably gold or below based on... Even those stats you looked at, the average player is silver, which will increase the player pool below that, like, Platinum 2, 4% threshold, which would make that a different number, right? Which would make that a smaller number, sorry. So yeah, I think that's a lot of it. A lot of it's the fact that people haven't played their placements yet because they're waiting to get their rewards at the end of the season when Riot starts reminding them. A lot of it's the inflation, and then a lot of it's the fact that they changed tiers.
Mm-hmm. That being said, he did have a PS. So in reference to a couple episodes ago, combining Ohmwrecker with Zezerat should cause Void Spawn to burrow into the tower cannons, causing turret shots for a duration to deal exclusively internal damage. I really like that. Like, they crawl into just, like, the cannon and it just, like, goes off and just hurts itself. Like, the imagery there is so good.
That's pretty good,
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you again, NA support main, Scavis.
Next email is from Grundlebutter, who says, "Hello, you beautiful voices of the Leakcast podcast. It is I, Grundlebutter, here asking for some assistance with Yordles. In my head, every Yordle is pretty OP, so I only play Yordles. The only issue I am running into is that I feel that I either feast or famine. Do you guys have any tips on how to feast more than I famine? I predominantly play Teemo top, Vigar mid, Amumu jungle, Tristana 80 carry, and Yuumi support. The links is op.gg. Thank you so much for the help. Stay fresh, and hello from my fellow UTD student." Is that where you're going, Aidan? I mean,
That's where
no.
I'll
sorry.
be going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. Just a quick look at your OPGG. Play more Teemo. Vary your build up. It kind of looks like you build a lot of the same items every single game, regardless of like who you play against and the enemy team comp. Um, Otherwise,
In general,
play
if
less
you're
roles. You have a champion for every single role in the game. You should be only playing like 2, maybe 3. Like if you're looking to climb.
Yeah, if you're looking to climb, definitely focusing on that. I'd say also, in terms of trying to avoid like a feast or famine issue, I mean, like, how do you feast more than you famine? I think ideally it's really you're going to be lowering both and just trying to play a safer, more consistent play style, taking those higher percentage plays. Other than that, I mean, how do you feast more than you famine? You need to go back and either think about your games, watch replays, like you need to see what you're doing in the games that you are not succeeding in and identify specifically the mistakes. Do you push up your lane when you don't have wards? Do you play aggressive even when you're down summoners? Like, what is causing you to fail in these games and how can you prevent that? So those would be my recommendations for you, Nick.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Good luck. Thank you
This one's
for the
me.
email.
This is me. Yeah. Next email is from Dire Madhim. Diarmadhim? I don't really know.
I don't know. Zero clue. Sorry for butchering your name.
Yeah. Let me start by saying I love your show. Yeah, we all do. The other day, I was listening to an episode and a guy had wrote in complaining about league crashing. You guys had some great suggestions, but if he's running Windows 10, it could be an issue with game DVR. My league kept crashing too until I turned that off. Y'all take care and keep up the great work. Did even more troubleshooting for this guy. That was like a month ago.
True. Yeah, I forgot about that. I think we all turned it off for some Steam game that was having that issue, if I'm not mistaken. Like a long time ago. But yeah, that's a really good suggestion. Whoever is listening, and if your league still crashes.
In my headcanon, that guy is never listened to the podcast before, but he's like, fuck, I need to get this fixed. So
Please,
he like,
God
emailed
help.
us. And then he's never listened again.
Yeah. Thank you, DR Mitim, I think. I don't know. Next is from the Raz, aka Jagriz. Hey guys, it's the Raz. I just wanted to actually, Colton, do you mind if I do the next? I want to do the one after this.
Yeah, that's fine. I can read this one.
Yeah,
Hey
thank you.
guys, it's the Raz. I just want to let you know you guys missed out on Detroit Finals. It was freaking awesome. It's what, Aidan?
You got your fucking money's worth, dude. 10 games?
Yeah, actually, that's pretty hype. Yeah. It's Sunday morning, so I still haven't seen TL versus C9 yet. I've emailed you guys a lot recently. I was the Tryndamere guy from last week. By the way, your show is legit 50% male fight.
We would be lucky to get 50%. I'm just kidding.
But I really wanted to ask you guys a question about getting a YouTube/Twitch career off the ground. During the fan event here in Detroit, I got to 1v1 Fogged for the win too in front of a crowd of about 250 people on stage. We both played Tryndamere and I won. I think I was the only fan to win versus a pro during the event, and before I came to Detroit, I was working on my YouTube game and my Twitch game. Aidan gave me some fire feedback on a video I made about Eternals. I was wondering, what are some tips you have for getting your content platforms off the ground? I had in mind that I could do some free coaching for a follow on Twitch, but I'm only Plat 4. What are some other ideas you have? I feel like right now is my one moment where I have the best chance to make something happen. Thank you guys so much for making a great podcast. I binge listened to them on the 10-hour drive here. Thanks, Jack.
Can you imagine listening to 10 hours of us and not going insane?
I listen to us exclusively, like 24/7. I just have headphones in replaying the week's episode.
There's always a stream just flowing in. Hey, maybe we're not the best to ask about this. I mean, realistically, you have to find your own niche. I think is the biggest like piece of advice. You have to be consistent, and you've got to just commit to doing it, right? You can't dip your toe in. You have to find. I mean, you think about the biggest streamers. How many of them have made it for being? How do I word this? For being just them, I guess. and not having like a specific niche. That's not a good way to put it.
I mean, there needs to be something unique about your stream, I think, for people to watch it. And I think most often that's going to be a personality. It could also be that you play an interesting pick. It could be that you're very good at the game, right? That's a lot of pro players. Maybe their personality might not be as entertaining, but you watch for the informative. You want to see someone really good playing the game. There's also those that are personality driven. You watch the stream because they're really funny. You watch the stream because they do ridiculous things, whatever it might be. But I think also, consistency is a big one. Just, sticking to it, because the biggest way to like kill a fan base is just stop putting out content.
Oh, I mean, for sure. Like, if you're streaming every single day at 7 p.m., there's never going to be a time in which someone wants to watch your content and doesn't know if that's going to be available, right? So I think consistency, even if it's not super often, like every single day, is important. I mean, I think like one of the benefits we've gotten like as a podcast recently is that we haven't missed or had a late upload in quite some time. I think, with the exception of maybe like once out of the past year that I can remember. But I think that's super important. You can come to expect that every single Thursday there's going to be an episode of Leadcast there. And I think that's very important as a content creator to have that expectation so they know exactly when to tune in. You're taking all the work out. They don't have to seek out like, oh, is there a new video uploaded? It's so sporadic that I have no idea like when to track this. And I think like another piece of advice is consider why you watch the things that you watch. Why, like, if you watch Fogged, right? Why do you watch him? Because he's super good at Tryndamere. He's so knowledgeable about every single matchup that Tryndamere has. And he's pretty laid back. He's pretty chill, right? If there are qualities in his like streaming personality that you value, maybe like try to mimic that. Be a chill stream, and you become like very knowledgeable about something that you're interested in, and market that to people who are of a similar mindset.
Only other thing, which I think is like kind of is obvious, but like it's needed to be said, is like you have to make good content. Is the reality? Like,
yeah.
If you make good enough content, eventually people will find it. You have to stay. I think consistency is like the key. Obviously, you need to make it often. You can't just put out one thing and then be like, "Fuck, no one made it."
Sorry. One moment.
But
one moment, boy. Faye, I'm doing the podcast right now because it's Wednesday.
I'm keeping this in.
What? No.
Oh,
That's so cute.
Oh my gosh. Boy, that's
anyway.
fun. Hey, don't have your sister involved, or do you?
But no, but honestly though, like you can't just like release one thing and be like, "Fuck, no one listened to it." That kind of sucks. You have to make good content, and then you have to be consistent about it. Like making good content is the most important thing. Like I've watched, my favorite streamer right now is Ludwig. It's like, why is he like one of the fastest like growing Twitch channels? Because he fucking has the best content on Twitch, right? Like every single week he's doing something like new that brings in like a bunch of people, right?
Yeah. I think a big part of that is like just do something you enjoy doing, right? There's never a time that you want to tune into a streamer who doesn't like look like they're having fun, right? Aside from like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go tune in because they're raging right now, and that's gonna be hot. Like you're not gonna tune in for that every single time. You want to see them having fun, and that's contagious. But yeah, lit. Good luck, dude. Next email is from DeCruz. DeCruz, I'm going to preface this by saying I had to summarize your champion idea because it was very long, and I think it's a super good idea, so we left it in, but it is quite long, so I had to tone it down a little bit. He actually sent 2 emails. First email was, DeCruz here, thanks for the constant podcast. Stop listening to other League podcasts completely now. So I hope you enjoy the fact that you're now the only League podcast that's owning my ear holes on my drive to and from work. Anyways, to the main subject, Eternals. I want to have have one that shows the amount of times you smash the mastery emote while died with no kill in return. Like you die but don't get a kill or assist, and you just spam your mastery because reasons. Also, have you ever tried apple smoked Gouda? Holy hell, it's amazing. Pair it with a good summer sausage and or a chicken cracker. I have no idea what a chicken cracker is. And you have a good quick snack. What?
I said I have no idea what that is.
I'm not a fan of chicken crackers.
Okay. Or just eat it by itself for the full apple smoke flavor.
Apple smoke Gouda, though, I am a big fan of.
Yeah, I think we all do really like Gouda. I'm kind of like coming down a little bit. It's so strong. It's so powerful. I don't know if my mouth can handle the strength that Gouda has, like all the time.
I mean, there's like, especially like when you're talking to smoked Gouda. I mean, it's just like there's a big level of variability there where you like have a really, really strong smoky flavor or not. So there's definitely a lot of room to play there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love that smoky flavor, and I also like the apple flavor. So apple smoked Gouda.
Yeah, for sure. And then his champion idea was mime. Doesn't have a voice. He only mimes emotes. Passively, when he hits specific champions with his abilities, it changes what they do. For example, his Q, when it hits mages, marksmen, and assassins, further referred to as squishies, it's a point-and-click blink to a target. It can crit. When he hits a tankier person, like a tank or bruiser, he twirls a number of times, damaging whoever he hits. He heals and he reduces armor. W, hitting squishies. He lassos the champion, yanking them 3 times before releasing and slowing them. When he hits tanks and bruisers, he dashes forward, ignores unit collision, gains damage reduction, and inflicts grievous wounds on all targets he damages. His E, when he hits squishies, I really like this. He goes invisible, but it's kind of only as his mind. He like mimes invisibility. He does become immune to damage for a short time. When he hits tankier champions, he creates an impassable wall that blocks a small amount of damage from one direction. In his ultimate, he copies a target champion, copying all abilities, stats, buffs, and debuffs. A small global cooldown happens before he can use his target's abilities, and it kind of has the same function as like Sarlis. So you can't target the same. There's a cooldown per champion, so you can't target the same champion too often. He says it's probably OP, probably too complicated, probably cringe. Good all-around character, but your build may not fit the target you copy, which I think is super cool. I think this is a super cool champion. I do think it's probably too complicated for League, but I like the idea of like, okay, his ability is going to do something based on the champion that I am.
I think that you'd have to make it like melee or ranged.
I think that is a way better way to.
I think that's the only way you could do this is if it's melee it does this, if it's ranged it does this, and the casting mechanism needs to be the same regardless. So you throw your lasso and the skill shot is the same, and the area of it is the same. It's just once it lands the effect changes, because the Q is a point and click dash. Or like just a debuff to them, like it needs to be the same casting mechanism for that.
Yeah. I like the idea of like if it's a like big beefy melee character, his like he's not strong enough to pull them, so he goes to the melee really cool. champion, right? But he's but if strong enough to pull, like an Ashe, so he pulls them closer. That's that's a good way to put it. But I like this. I like the idea of this character. I also think a mime character would be great.
Yeah, and I think also for his ult, you definitely just would only be able to copy basic abilities though, because like you couldn't take ult. Silas already has that. But that being said, being able to like take their buffs and debuffs would be hilarious. Like they get Baron and you just copy one of them, and you're like, now we have Baron too.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I was thinking like, okay, they have a hyper scaling like Vayne comp. I'm just gonna ult the Vayne whenever she gets like Lulu ulted. But that'd be sick. You'd have to coordinate with your team to make sure that you didn't copy someone who is being like Malzahar ulted, and then you're just ulted there too.
Oh yeah, like I'm suppressed.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But no, I like that character.
Yeah. Thank you to Cruz, and hopefully I did your champion justice with the summary.
Mm-hmm. Next email is from Mountain Drew. Hello, Aidan, Colton, and Hick. Hecarim with Predator runes, good or bad? I build warrior, Moby's, Trinity Force, Ghostblade, Deadman's, and Righteous Glory. Thoughts on the build? Thanks, Mountain Drew. This seems awfully familiar. This build,
I don't personally like building Essence Reaver on Hecarim. I don't think those AD focus builds are that good.
I don't think he said Essence Reaver.
Give me,
It's a
Aidan.
joke.
Oh, I see.
He said he builds Warriors, Moby's, Trinity Force, Ghostblade,
Oh,
Deadman's, and Righteous
bam,
Glory.
bam, bam, bam. Very
So
funny.
yeah, I mean, this is very similar to just like the slap chop build. The only thing
Yeah.
you didn't have is the Duskblade, but I think that this build, it's very good at what it does, in that you're gonna run it and you're gonna pop one person. That being said, I think you can pop somebody without building that much damage, and if you really want to be going for a one-shot build, I think like lethality is going to be the way to go, where you go like a Warrior, Duskblade, Yomu's, and then Edge of Night, especially because having that spell shield up when you run in there is going to be a lot stronger. That being said, I think Hecarim is crazy with Conqueror, and that's why everyone runs it, is because just it lets you do more than just eliminate one target and die. It lets you actually carry a team fight.
That's what I was gonna say. The only downside with this is like you can go, Warrior, Trinity Force, full tank with Conqueror and do the same amount of damage. Like you run slower for sure, but you're just the same character, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and you're way tankier. Also, yeah, he says he's only going to do straightforward questions now. Thank you. I appreciate you taking this podcast professionally. It's in your fucking job description, so it'd be cool if you didn't joke. Also, learn how to spell straight, bud.
Yeah.
Next email's from
That's fucked.
Yeah, I just pick it on him. I love Drew, dude. Next email's from Ronald McDonald. Hey guys, hope everything is well. I just wanted to share something with you guys that I just figured out this week. When I was playing TFT, I found it strange that Yumi was an item. At first, I was confused on why Riot would want to include a champion as an item, rather than an item like a Void Staff to represent where is also a sorcerer. But then I realized that when you add the Yumi item to a champion, it looks like Yumi is on his or her shoulder, just like Yumi would be in a League of Legends game. I don't recall if you guys have touched on this before, but I thought it was a nice detail I found on TFT. Keep up the good work, Ronald McDonald. I think that is a good detail. I didn't really think about it like that. I kind of knew it was Yumi like all along, but I didn't think it was like being on their shoulder, I suppose.
I wish they carried all their items.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just see it, everything.
That's the best part about Risk of Rain, right? Is like that. They
Is
just
that,
carry
yeah,
all their
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Is there going to be an update to that game soon?
And like next month, September
Pog,
update,
pog, pog. All right,
adding
cool.
abilities 2.0,
Nice.
which I'm assuming means you can change out abilities. Like every character would have like 2 sets of abilities.
That'd be
I'm
awesome.
assuming.
Yeah. Thank you, Ronald.
Next email is
I
from
think it's an L.
Al.
Yeah, I think it's an L.
Imagine Riot releases a new champion. The first time you press Q, you gain the Q of a targeted ally. Same for your W, same for your E. You can do this on the fountain at the start of the game. When you press R, your Q, W, and E reset, so you don't have an ult as much to limit the potential brokenness. You can copy a different set of abilities from your team. Your passive makes all the abilities you steal scale with your AP like Silas or some sensible ratio so they're not ridiculous. What's your team comp, and what combinations of skills do you borrow? Assuming sensible interactions, like if you use an Ori ability, it uses her ball, Cinder abilities can use her orbs, etc. Also, Garen Yumi Medikaiser. Cheers, Al.
Let's play that this week and then talk about it next week. That sounds fun.
Yeah, no, Garen Yumi is real good.
Yeah,
We'll
it's being
talk
played
about
in
that next week.
LEC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's because
in
Garen's
terms of
OP
this
right now.
character, what would be your combination of a team?
This is so fucking hard, dude.
It's hard to think, like, what abilities would be... So it'd have to be a support character, right? Did he even say that? Like, there's no way that character would be good unless it's a support character, I
Yeah,
believe.
because they don't have an ultimate. And I feel like a lot of carries are very, like, either auto-attack reliant or ulti reliant.
Individually, what are the best abilities in the game, I guess? As support, you'd steal... So you'd also have to have these characters on your team, though, is the problem,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like,
then you-
I'd like a Blitzcrank hook, but then you'd have to have a Blitzcrank on your team,
Yeah.
right? That'd be problematic.
Okay, so...
Here's the
Nautilus?
team comp. Here's the team comp. No. Let me tell my team comp first, okay?
No one cares about your team comp, Colton. We're doing
Nope,
this as a
I'm
team.
telling it.
We're doing this as
I
a
don't
team. Hence the team comp.
All right, Colin, why don't you
Nope.
tell us? Go ahead.
Okay, so here's my potential support. Okay, so you got Scion top,
Dumb.
Galio mid, Jax
Dumber.
jungle. So you steal Scion's Q, Galio's W, and Jax E. You channel up your Q, stun 4 people. Turn on your E, stun 4 people. Channel your W, stun 4 people.
What character for the W?
Galio.
Galio. Okay,
The taunt.
that's a good one. You're a fucking huge CC bot.
CC.
And then you're-
and then and those actually like fit roles. And then you just pair that with like an AD carry, and you're good.
Gotcha. See, the problem is I don't think I'm gonna come up with a better one than that.
Okay, Nick. Let's like go. So you tell me the Q and I'll do the W. Okay.
Ah, fuck. All right.
You just tell me a top laner, a mid laner, or a jungler, or an AD carries Q.
Aurelia.
Okay. I'm gonna choose W. I'm gonna choose what's orange W? Which one is that? Is that breath?
Yeah, this is breath.
Yeah.
I want breath.
Okay. We're building
And
a
then
champion.
E.
Colton, what's your E?
It has to be a mid laner or an AD carry.
We will go with Vigary.
Ooh, okay. Good
That's
champ.
good. That's a character.
Put him in the cage, burn
That
him
is a
down,
character.
dash
Yeah, sure.
out. I thought of another one that'd be really fun.
Okay.
Okay, so we got Anivia mid.
Trundle.
We got Ornn top, and we got Trundle jungle. And you steal Ornn's Q, Anivia's W, and Trundle's E, and you just
Hell yeah, dude.
build terrain.
Hell yeah. Fuck you. Fuck your team. Yeah. Thanks, Al.
Very cool.
Next email is from xshortzox. It says, "Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I made my name when I was 10 and Shortzo is 10. Oh, xshortzox. What is Shortzo?
Oh,
Is that like an anime
it's just
character?
its name. I'm assuming it's just its like cool name.
Are you sure? I bet it's an anime character.
Maybe.
It's from One Piece if it is. Oh, it's a World of Warcraft character.
It's someone's actual character though. I don't know if it's like a character.
Why'd
from
that pop up?
Yeah, I get the same thing. I don't know.
Dude, it's a fucking gnome. You see this?
Yeah, I do.
It's Outlaw Rogue Gnome.
Outlaw Rogue Pog, dude. Now we're just creeping on this guy's wow. Okay, whatever.
I hope it's his.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Dear fellow people who kind of enjoy League on the occasion, been listening for a few months, decided I finally had a topic that was worthy of writing in. Will fucking be the judge of that. So this last weekend was my first time playing Clash. It was a total blast, even though my team only won a single game over the 2 days. Now is the chance to mention that I'm hard set gold. This is relevant in the fact that in the losers bracket finals, I was laning AD carry against a diamond AD carry. This was one of the first times I've ever laned against someone who is so vastly better than me in a role that isn't even my main, because cough cough, I don't have enough friends to be able to cover all the roles. While getting stomped wasn't super fun, I found it quite enlightening to see the way a much better player controlled the lane. I was sitting under turret all game, I was zoned off of XP, let alone CS, and this AD carry had a full item on me by 20 minutes. All the bad parts aside, I feel like this is something that should be experienced by more players. I learned a lot from this game, and the AD carry was positioning in ways that they could even harass me. They could harass me without a chance of retaliation. This really pushed their lead. Every gold they had over me went into making sure that I got even less gold. I think that playing against someone vastly better than them is an experience that could really push someone to improve. Anyway, sorry for the long email. Love what you guys are doing. Keep up the hard work. Shortzo. Yeah, 100%. But the important thing is that you're not going to learn unless you're willing to learn, right? There's a universe where you get stomped and all you can think about is, wow, Riot's dog shit matchmaking once again. Thank you, Father Riot.
Mm-hmm.
But going into it with the mindset of like, okay, he fucking smashed me. Like, what did he do better than me, and how can I incorporate that into my own play is something that can take you very far, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
lots of room for improvement. It's very mature.
I think playing against people that are significantly better than you is a great way to learn, and I think that I've definitely had that experience of going up against someone who's just vastly better than me and being like, oh, like, this is what it means to be good. And, like, that has happened so many times, right? In my initial climb at the very beginning of the game, from bronze to now diamond, and right, even now, I'd have to have that realization and that significant improvement many times over to be up at that top level, where I'll play against like a challenger or a master player and be like, oh wow, like they are significantly better than me, and then you look at like the pros and you look at like the top pros, and it's just you can learn a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just have to be willing to put in the work to learn what they did better than you, and how you can kind of take that information and shape it into something that will help you. Yeah, good email. Thank you, Shortso.
Next email is from JFL. He says, "How could you ruin my boy like this? The only mummy in my life is the full AP mummy. You gotta pop off. Play him like Kassadin, but build less tanky. Domination,
Okay.
electrocute, sudden impact, cause you hit your Q. Eyeball collection and ultimate hunter. Precision secondary with presence of mind and coup de grace, cause they're all low health after all. First item, runic echoes for those little purple tears. Sorcerer's shoes for burst, then Morello's or Leandry's depending on how tanky they are. Or both if you're fed. Then you need your hat for burst. Fifth item, Rylai's, so you can't miss. If you haven't won already, you don't deserve to. If you're bad, I guess you could build Rylai's first, Zonia's if they have 5 AD. Ultimately, you're going to win the game by flashing under their backline and 100% to zeroing their support and AD carry with Alt and E. If you're bad, you can use the Q onto the AD, but flashing in for dominance and the guaranteed RQ is the key. That tilts them into the L. You're welcome for the free elo, JFL. This is more similar to how I play Mumu,
Yeah,
honestly.
Colton's. I think the first thing we talked about, like when we talked to Colton in the LAN cafe, is like, nah, you guys fucking build a Mumu wrong. So why don't you take this time to get up on your little soapbox and tell us how the Sweat Boy is supposed to be played, Mr. Sweat Boy.
Tell us.
Okay, so I think a Mumu, I think I typically go full AP just because it's fun.
Wrong.
It is fun, but I don't
I'm
think
just
it's the
kidding,
best way to
yeah.
play him. I think there is something to be said about running Electrocute, starting a Runic Echo, and then moving into tankiness. You have pretty high base damage on your abilities. Your clear is really strong, and you're so fast at clearing if you go Runic Echoes. You can just actually 100 to 0 a lot of people, like mid laners, AD carry supports. And then if you just move that into tankiness, whether that be through a Rylai's, Leandry's, and a Zhonya's, that's one way to do it, or moving into actual full-on tank items afterwards. I think kind of a hybrid build where you go into an Abyssal Mask and Leandry's, Rylai's, and then probably more tank items is how I tend towards it. But you actually do crazy damage, and there's not a lot they can do about it once you get ahead. So that's my 2 cents. I also think his early ganking, even pre-6, is actually kind of nutty if you can land the Q. Just because Q auto E is a lot of damage. And the range on the Q is crazy. So if you can land it, it's pretty easy to get early flashes and potential kills. Also, if you have Electrocute, that just adds 100 damage.
True. Thank you, GFL. And hopefully that was more of what you wanted to hear, instead of our apparently wrong way to play it. 'Cause what do we know, right? We're just nobodies, Aidan. Next email is from Mr. Ginger, and this is the final email. He says, sorry for the late email, but this question has been on my mind for a while now, with the new rework being out for a little bit. So a few things. One, I wanted to know your guys' opinion on the new Pantheon and where he fits. I understand that he is mostly top in jungle, but is he a bruiser? I don't feel like he has enough health for that. Also, I have been playing him a lot in the jungle, and I feel as if this is where he really shines with the stack passive. He can just run into lane and wreck shit. Also, ult makes him a map-wide threat. The second question is, why not press the attack over Electrocute? Electrocute just seems suboptimal with a short burst of damage, when PTA can give you a smaller burst with a greater execute on his range Q. Just thoughts. Let me know what you all think. Also, keep up the great podcast and quality work, unlike those at other podcasts. let's have a discussion, everyone.
He says never let it die. He wants you to say the meme, Nick.
No.
Nick,
Let's
he
have a
wants you to say
discussion,
it.
everyone. This is a discussion from parents, us, children, you. We're not going to say other podcast names anymore, okay? We're not going to allude to them via some very funny inside joke that happened a couple episodes ago, all right?
It's funny because I did it like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know.
But that was different though. That was like a reverse.
You had to
meme, right?
explain the joke to me. You had to explain the joke to
Yeah,
me. So.
that's how. Yeah, that's
It was my
good
fault.
enough.
It was my fault. Let's just not say other podcast names. I don't want to drag their names through the mud. I'm sure that their product is it is targeted towards a different audience and they have different values, right?
They work hard on their show.
On
and
every
they
other
come out
league
and-
podcast.
Yeah, so
And we don't want to be the podcast that
love
just shits
them.
on everyone else, all right?
yeah.
In fact, go
and
listen to them.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far.
All right. That was a joke. Everything else.
Just go to our
Yeah,
Patreon
first
instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think Press the Attack's good. Did we ever say Electrocute? Maybe like when we were covering him initially.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Games you used to take. I don't know. I haven't played New Pantheon
You haven't
yet,
played enough,
so
yeah.
I don't have commentary. I haven't played in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Press the Attack's good. I also think there's a mention to be made for Conqueror because you proc it pretty fucking fast with your empowered W. With your empowered W, I think. When you get
That sounds about right.
You get the W and then 3 auto attacks off after, I think. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Press the Attack's also super good. I think he's a bruiser. I mean, I think bruiser items consist of like you build Black Cleaver at some point and you build Sterix and you're a bruiser. So, but yeah, I wouldn't build like any. If it doesn't have attack damage, I probably wouldn't build it. Unless you're like
Yeah,
up
that's
against
fair.
a super AP heavy team and you go like Spirit Visage or something. But yeah. Hopefully
that's
hopefully that answers your question. And that'll do it for this episode of Leaguecast. You can I want to say what?
Surprised. That went by so quickly.
Oh, I thought you said wait.
No, I said what?
I want to do a special shout out to my boy Gio, the man who made our intro and outro music. You can check out his work on Spotify. I think it's just Gio on Spotify, if I'm not mistaken.
Spotify, YouTube, and Twitter. It's GioYuKiOlemus. Also, you can just add him on Discord because he has our DJ role on
He's
our
got our
Discord.
DJ role. Yeah. So, shout out
And his
to him.
links are in our description every week.
Yeah. But we don't do that often enough on the show, so thank you, Gio. Really appreciate it. Aidan and I were talking about this, I think, over the past week. It's fucking sick.
As much as I love Chris's shitty,
Yeah, yeah.
his like beat that with his voiceover on everything for like every show. I recently went back and listened to like an LCS rundown like intro.
Yeah.
Where it's just like a beat and then him going, "Welcome to the LCS rundown."
Yeah, it's like that's got a place, but fuck, dude, the new intro's so sick. I love it.
Yeah, it's really sick.
Check us out on Twitter at Leaguecast and at LeaguecastFrost. On Facebook, we are Leaguecast. Come talk to us on TeamSpeak, ts.leaguecastpodcast.com, or on Discord. You can get an address or a link to our Discord by sending us an email, mail@leaguecastpodcast.com, or you can check out our website, leaguecastpodcast.com, and there's a little widget that you can click on to get the invite right away. We stream twitch.tv/bluebasket and /kinglardout. Patreon.com/leaguecast is where you can support us financially. And I think that's it. We made it, boys.
Hell
6
yeah,
more
we did
weeks.
it.
6 more weeks of
20 emails up, 20 emails down.
true.
Maybe we'll do something for 400. We'll do something like a
Well,
yeah.
we're
live
gonna do
stream or
something.
We'll have
400
400 emails.
Currently, 0 plans. So that's pretty fun.
It's
We'll
gonna
probably
be
figure out a
huge.
plan the week before.
The day before.
Yeah, something like that.
So, but we'll do
During
something.
the show.
We'll do something. Yeah. I mean, we're not Colton. We're not gonna do things. We're not gonna plan things during the show.
No,
That's fucked up. You're gonna call me out the first week I'm back. It hurts.
We have to make up
I'm
for it.
leaving.
We had to make up for it.
Goodbye.
All right. Thank you for listening. Bye.
bye.
Done with the show.